It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with
The Mixed Martial Arts Hour is back in your life. Whoop. On this Wednesday, November 29th, 2023. Hello again, everyone. I sure hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the program. It is great to be here on a frigid Wednesday afternoon in New York City. Oh, it's so cold outside. I hate it. I hate everything about it. My microphone, I thought it was just about to fall on my lap. That's why I went whoop. But We're all good. We're all good. That was my homage to the great Chris Berman. Let me just lift my chair up here, if I may, for a moment. Ah, yes, that is much better.
You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Frank. I'm doing good. It's a good time to be alive. We've got a fun show planned for everyone. You know, it's the holiday season, post-Thanksgiving, heading into all the fun holidays in December, and I felt like we needed a warm hug. A warm hug. And so here we are with a very special edition of the program. I'm going to get into all of that and a lot more here off the top. First, I have to tell you about our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Today's show is presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. They changed the name on us, and so old habits are dying hard here. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with the code the MMA Hour, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details. Also, support for this show comes from Cash App. Perks are great, but they always come with a cost, right? Nope. With Cash App, you can get the best of both worlds. Discounts and offers for free. What kind of perks? How about discounts on your favorite retailers or pre-sales to concerts and so many more? While it can't solve all your problems, Cash App can make your money go further, all with no hidden fees. That's money. That's Cash App. Download Cash App from the App Store or Google Play and start collecting those perks today. Back into the show, we'll check in with the guys for their picks for this weekend. As I said on Monday's show, another busy weekend in the world of combat sports. The UFC with a sneaky good card in Austin, Texas. I like this card very much. This is the one headlined by Daniel Cormier, who's returning after that disappointing loss. What was it? Back in June? Yeah, he lost to Daniel Dariush fought Charles Oliveira. Why was I thinking Bilal Muhammad in May? Bilal Muhammad replaced him after that fight fell through against Gilbert Burns, and then he fought in Vancouver against Charles Oliveira. 155, 170. It's also very weird. So this is his first fight since that fight in June of this past year, looking to get back on track. Feel for him. He had that long winning streak. And then, he ran into the buzzsaw that is Dubronx. So he's fighting Arman Sarukian. It's not getting much easier for him. But there's also Jalen Turner versus Bobby Green, a fight that was put together on essentially 2 weeks' notice. Miesha Tate coming back, et cetera, et cetera. Also, as I said, Mick Conlon returning in Belfast Saturday afternoon. And the return of King Ryan Garcia. Now, I should also mention maybe the most intriguing fight of the weekend is one that I don't think the guys can bet on. Correct me if I'm wrong, GC. Can you bet on the Mike Perry, Eddie Alvarez, King of Violence title fight?
No, not on DraftKings, not right now.
No. Well, I mean, do you think it's time? Do you think they should?
They have it on offshore books. Mike Perry is a large favorite.
But do you think it's time that the big dogs start including these lines, or not quite?
I don't see why not.
Yeah,
if you offer me a line, I'm going to bet on it. So I don't see why not.
So Mike Perry is the big favorite, I guess. So
like
yeah,
more than a minus 300.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, he's done this longer. The bare knuckle stuff. It's at a higher weight class than Eddie Alvarez is used to fighting in. Anyway, I'm intrigued. Also, the return of Ben Rothwell against Todd Duffy. Now, speaking of Todd Duffy, oh my gosh, I was thinking, it's been a while. It's been a long time. And if I'm being honest, the first time that we did it, the big reunion, didn't quite go as planned because we were rushed. And if I'm also being honest, the magic of the first run, if you will, wasn't in person. It was via the magic of Zoom. And so we are going to run it back, my friends. And I was kind of always waiting for the perfect time, the perfect moment, the perfect setting, the perfect this, the perfect that. I need to chat with my old friend DC. I need to chat with my old friend DC, just like old times. So today's guest list is just one. It's DC and Hawani, just like old times on this lovely Wednesday. You need it. I need it. You may not know you need it. You do need it. We all need it. And so I'm looking forward to catching up with my old friend Daniel Cormier in about an hour's time. And I forgot, by the way, how stressful it is to book Daniel Cormier on a show because you have to remind him 48 times and then he won't reply and then he'll reply in the middle of the night. And it just brought back some incredible deja vu. When I was doing the show with him, it was just, we had a set time. We just showed up. I didn't have to worry necessarily about him showing up because it was his show as well. So this has been fun. I'm looking forward to it and I see the excitement. And I don't even know what we're going to talk about. It's been over a year since we last spoke. It has been 2.5 years, 2.5 years since we last did a Zoom chat. But you'll recall he was in studio in November of last year when the UFC was in town for the MSG show. It was very rushed, though. But we had a good time. Don't get me wrong. We had a great time. But you know what's crazy? Our good friend Jedi Goodman, who's a great supporter of the program, every Wednesday he likes to, put out a tweet about the show. And sometimes he'll go into the vault and say, this happened a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. This blew my mind. I didn't know that this happened. What are the chances that this happened? I mean, this is insane. He posted this morning. I woke up and saw this tweet from him. 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago, November 29th, 2021, literally 2 years ago on this program, in the first few months of the return, GC and I had this discussion. This is going to blow your mind. And I didn't bring him back today because of this discussion. I can't even believe Jedi found this clip. I can't even believe you remember that this was said on the show. Anyway, this happened on the show exactly 2 years ago today. Take a look. In a different world, I used to be really into the holidays in a different life, yeah. Different show. I love
the holidays, getting festive.
But there's always like random ones, like every day. Like today, you know what today is?
No.
Today is, I just looked this up real quick.
There's always a national something day going.
Yes, that was my gimmick.
Oh, you want to?
And everyone stole it. Everyone stole it from me. Oh, Cyber Monday. Chadwick Boseman Day. Wow. Oh, today's his birthday.
Yeah, his birthday. Yep.
Oh, this is interesting. National Lemon Cream Pie Day.
See, that's just... Who is observing that?
I'll tell you who's observing it. Daniel Cormier. What?
Oh, loves the lemon cream pie.
No, but any opportunity to eat pie, he's
wow. Wow. Thought you were cool now.
No, we're cool. We're cool. How's that possible? How is it possible that 2 years ago today, I cracked that joke about National Lemon Cream Pie Day, which is in fact today, and here he is, by chance, on the program on November 29th, 2023. It kind of blows my... That's eerie. That's a bit... I mean, first of all, crazy that Jedi found that clip. But that's crazy. That means that there's a higher power, my friends. That means that someone is working to put all of this together. The stars are aligning. And who knows, maybe someday down the line, this will be a regular thing. But for now, it's one day only. And I can't wait to catch up with my old pal DC later on in the program. On Wednesdays, though, we like to shoot. And I have to tell you, I have felt also like I've had to rush through the questions. Part of this is my problem, loading the deck, too many guests, etc., etc. So I have instructed moderator Mysterious Frank, or should it be Mysterious Moderator Frank?
Curator.
But I like the double M.
Oh, okay. Well then.
Mysterious Frank El Curator.
Let's do it.
All right. I said, you know what? Let's do more questions. Let's double them up. The people need love. The Substack subscribers have been throwing out questions, and we're not getting to the vast majority of them. And so we're going to breathe a little bit. A lot going on. Let's answer some questions. Let's have a grand old time. And so with that said, time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is
time for a good old-fashioned Q&A, MMA fans.
Oh, yeah.
To hear from the man himself,
Did you celebrate National lemon cream pie day, Frank?
You know, I do not. I don't think I've ever had a lemon cream pie.
You've never had a lemon cream pie? Really?
I don't think so.
We should have got some.
It's
like a lemon meringue pie?
Isn't that the same?
Is it the same?
Not a big meringue guy.
Yeah,
No,
too.
You're
much
right.
air.
I think meringue isn't the same. Lemon cream pie isn't. I mean, I feel like everyone's had that.
I think, is it like a key lime, but it's made of lemons instead of key limes?
I don't know, because it's not key lime cream pie.
That's
Well,
true.
you put condensed milk in the key lime pie.
Can I be honest with you guys for a
Let's be
second here?
honest.
This whole time I was envisioning lemon cream pie as key lime pie.
There we go.
Not the same?
No, not even close.
Not even the same fruit.
Yeah, completely different citrus fruits.
There's a place in Florida that we go to, Joe's Stone Crab. Are you familiar with this spot? And
Yeah, Miami.
yeah. There's their big thing is the lemon. The key lime. The key
Because
lime.
of the Florida Keys.
right.
And you buy the key lime pie, and if you get the whole pie, they give you an unopened can of whipped cream
Yeah.
just to
shut
go
up.
ham. You ever try it?
What's the crust made out of? Like graham cracker, ginger snaps?
No, but I have had Joe's Stone Crab.
It's not bad.
Went there this year.
Before or
How's
after
the
you got
crab?
sick?
That was before I got sick.
Perfect.
But that's not what caused it.
Yes.
Smith and,
Yeah.
we'll keep the name.
Yes,
out.
that's right.
Keep the
You're
name
about,
off. You guys can,
yeah, you're about.
you guys can make your own conclusions on where I got sick.
Gargonzola steak, right?
Oh,
Shout out.
Frank, here you are. You get so defensive about anything said about your personal life, and you're just,
Who gets defensive?
You do.
I actually went to
That was good.
an Irish pub, and the special was gorgonzola and crusted steak, and I almost had to leave the property. It was
By the way,
bad. PTSD.
If I was with you at this dinner, I would have said this is a horrible, horrible, horrible idea.
So I originally ordered something else, and they were like, don't get that. It's not very good. Can we recommend this to you? And they recommended the gorgonzola and crusted steak. I was like, hey, you know what? Why not? That actually sounds pretty decent. Big cheese guy. Worst mistake of my life. Worst
Never
night
again.
of my life.
Hashtag never again.
No, there's no way. You put $10,000 on the table and be like, you eat that, you can keep the cash. I wouldn't do it.
I thought you were gonna say like $1 million. Would you do it for $1 million?
$1 million, yeah. I mean, $1 million, yeah.
You do it for $1 million?
100,000, 50,000.
10,000 for like a
I don't.
Cleanse
10,000, I'm still
and-
probably doing it.
If
10,000, I'm still probably doing it.
if you
Do it
try,
for
Wait,
$100.
wait. Am I guaranteed to get sick again?
yeah.
no,
Oh,
no. You're rolling the dice. You're rolling the dice. You may not get sick, but you also may be as sick as you were back in February, right? I'm not doing it for
And you can
100,000.
prep. You can take all sorts of things before you eat it, after you
No, no, no.
because you know.
No, you're sitting down there
I don't know.
on a normal day.
I'm
You're
going
not
back
doing
to
it
the
for
restaurant.
100K?
I'm not doing it.
100K, I'm doing it. 100K,
There's
I'm
nothing.
doing it.
There's
No, Ariel said
there's-
100K.
I can't even tell you
$100.
how much I hate throwing up. I
The steak
despise.
itself
you-
costs $100.
But okay,
Frank.
but
I paid $100
you're
to get
defying
sick.
you're defying logic here.
No.
You could get sick for free tomorrow. They're going to give you 100K to roll the dice
100K,
on it.
yes.
I'll-
There's no doubt.
I'll do it for $100.
No,
That's what I
No,
said.
Rick, if you had gone through what I went through, and there's
Violence.
no way. For $100, no way.
vomiting, diarrhea, everything. You're doing
Oh,
it for
it's
100.
fine.
Shaheen
Up it to
Al-Shai
1,000.
and I.
Up it to 1,000, and I'm
You're
in.
in.
1,000, I'm still probably not doing it. 5K is where I start considering it.
Oh my god.
Shaheen and I like this Mexican chain in Phoenix that's basically rolling the dice every time you eat it. And
I'm not doing it.
you just accept
This
the
is like
fate
a
of it.
known.
Is that
this
what
like
you
a
sent me
known
when I
thing.
went?
Yes.
When I went to Phoenix, that's where you
That's
sent
what I
me?
sent you.
Yeah, Frank talked
Welcome
about
to
some
Arizona.
restaurant in Phoenix that was like the greatest place on earth, and I went. I was just like, it was all right. And now I find out that like him and Shaheen cross their fingers that they don't.
It's
get
like
sick
drinking the
every time
water
they
in
go.
Mexico. You just got to do it.
No.
It was very underwhelming. It was very underwhelming.
You guys are crazy. There's nothing worse. You start getting the sweats. You start throwing, and you start feel. Oh my
Takes
god!
yourself.
It's so much money. It's so much money.
I know. I'm talking about
Not
from
worth
the
it.
perspective that you're guaranteed to get sick. If I'm
See, that's different.
If it's
That
Russian-
I get because now
if it's
you're-
Russian
you're-
roulette, yeah, I'm playing the game.
You guys are.
You've got the PTSD baked into this, like that. I understand. If it's guaranteed, I get it. But like to roll the dice, 1,000, and I'm in.
You just said,
Guaranteed.
wait. You said 100 before.
100, no
Well,
way.
they're like,
No way.
Connor says, no way you could do, like, you could be as sick as I was for $100, and I believe him, so I'll up it to 1,000.
All right, fine.
1,000. I still
I'm
like.
out.
I still feel like you'd be halfway through it and be like, I shouldn't have done this.
$1 million%.
I
I'll take the
really,
rest.
I really,
$1 million%. All right, let's get to the questions. Maverick, up first. What's up, Barry Allen team? With the exciting return of CM Punk to WWE, I can think of so many potential dream matches. Who'd you like to see as his first feud? Thanks, gang, for everything y'all do. Appreciate it. I got to be honest with you guys. I was locked in Monday night, 8 o'clock, USA Network. I wanted to see if he would come out. Of course, the stupid thing to do would be to have him come out first, and the ratings that came out today would imply. I saw Jedi posted the ratings that it was very smart to not have him come out in the first minute of the show. What is it? Up 29% versus last week. In the 1.884 million people watched, 18 to 49, 863. So these are very good numbers. So of course you're going to leave him for the end. So I tuned in, checked out a little bit, came back, 10:30, locked in, Randy Orton, this and that, and I was watching. It's exciting stuff. Now, did I want a little bit more in the promo? Perhaps. Did I think that he would talk about AEW or Tony Khan, this and that? No. They rarely, if ever, reference. I think they may have referenced one time AEW on WWE. Like the top dog isn't going to reference the number two. Number two will always reference number one. And I'm not just talking about in pro wrestling, in every walk of life, in MMA as well, right? Bellator is going to reference UFC. UFC is not necessarily going to reference Bellator or PFL. But what I'm talking about is there's such an amazing amount of baggage from the past 10 years that I thought maybe a reference of like the day he walked out back in 2014 or something, just a couple more beats. Overall, it was fine. And this whole thing is not going to be judged on the first promo. Remember when Bray Wyatt came back, may he rest in peace, the first promo was quite captivating. But then, as I've said on the show, I didn't like it. It just got a little bit too complicated along the way. And so I'm really curious to see where they go from here. I don't suspect that he wrestles before Royal Rumble. And then after Royal Rumble, maybe it's one more time before WrestleMania. Sometimes less is more. You don't need to have him in every backstage vignette and all this stuff. But ultimately, the question is, dream matches? I mean, there's a ton. Seth Rollins, top of the list. There's the history there, the comments. And already it feels like they're building towards that. Roman Reigns would be number 2. And then there's a plethora of all these guys who he's not wrestled with or hasn't been in the ring with for quite some time. It does feel like he is where he should be and back where he belongs. And let's see how it all works out. But it's captivating stuff. I mean, I'm not usually tuning in at 8 o'clock on Monday, locked into USA Network to see, the first segment of Monday Night Raw. It's been a while since I did that, if I'm being 1,000% honest. I keep up with it. I'm following the tweets. I listen to the podcasts. I read and stuff like that. But I wanted to witness this live. I wanted to see what he would say with the live microphone for the first time on Raw in about 10 years. So, I mean, that speaks volumes. And I'm sure there are other people who are locked in for the entire 3 hours. Look at the ratings. So let's see where they go from here. They're on fire right now. I think I said, was it earlier this year? I said Paul Levesque, Triple H is the best. I think I said best booker of all time. That was just to piss off people. Certainly the best booker of the year. And he's having an incredible run. And I must say, like, I don't think my guy Nick is getting enough credit here. I feel like he was instrumental in making this happen because of their previous relationship with CAA. And I see a lot of people saying like, and obviously Paul had to be involved because he's the booker man and, he's the guy who's writing the shows and all that. But I don't know if Nick isn't there. I don't think this happens. I don't think. I feel like he was instrumental in making it happen. And I want to see more credit thrown his way. All right. For goodness sakes. That's just me being, Homer. Let's get to the next question. Wow. This dude's name is Need More Frank with like 6 Ks. What's up with that? Is this you?
It's supposed to be red light. Need more Frank.
Yeah, but is this your burner?
No.
All right. I just want to open it here because it's not.
You didn't have it open already?
I did.
That kind of feels like they're playing too frank.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the question
like they're
is.
just like softening him up so he'll choose.
I do have to say, the pandering doesn't work. I ignored the name. I like the question.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, well, here he is getting his question answered.
First, actually second. Hello. I sure hope you and the crew are doing well. Can you please give your opinion on ONE FC and the current news regarding their financial issues? Mike Hogan's, I think he meant Kogan's, comments about not being able to be a startup for 10 years and them going out of business have me thinking about what will happen to their terrific multidisciplinary talent and what this means for the MMA competitive ecosystem, i.e. fewer promotions, more consolidation, etc. Can you please ask Rick for his opinion on this as well? Thank you and the crew so much for everything you do. P.S. Mike was awesome. Always loved the fighter content, but the behind-the-scenes business interviews are so unique and rare. Great work. Thank you. I enjoy them as well. Number one, you have to understand this. Kogan has been a part of Bellator for the past 10 years. He is not a fan of ONE FC, just like he's not a fan of the UFC, just like he wasn't a fan of PFL before they acquired Bellator. It was a competitive game. He wanted to win, and they're all competing for, similar fighters, market share, et cetera, et cetera. So him saying that isn't gospel. ONE FC's or ONE Championships financial issues have been documented on several different websites by several different journalists, and I have no reason to believe that they aren't true. And we've asked Chatri about some of these over the years, and he usually has an answer ready to go. How long can they continue like this? I don't know. I would say that they haven't made a big impact here in the United States. There was a period around 4 years ago where they tried to make a big push in the United States when they signed Demetrius Johnson, when they signed Eddie Alvarez, when they signed Sage Northcutt, and they hired Misha Tate to help them out and all this stuff. And the pandemic halted those plans, and they came back to America and their plans here in April in Colorado, and that was their first show, and it was fine. I just feel like they have their thing is Asia right now. Their stars are most popular in Asia, and they probably need to focus on that. I would say, in addition to all of that, I feel like the state of MMA and the current state of the MMA business, and even further, the current state of the MMA promotional business is quite poor right now, if I must say. And I stress MMA and not UFC. UFC is on fire, and perhaps more so, I don't want to say than ever, but it's been a while that it has felt this way. It doesn't feel like there's anywhere and anyone who is even close to them at the moment, who could sell tickets like they can, who could build stars like they can, who could give people, fights that they're excited about and talking about and all this stuff like they can. And we had the Pride era, we had the brief Elite XC run, we had the Strikeforce era. Bellator was making a push, kind of fizzled out towards the end there. Again, if I'm a fighter, there aren't that many options right now. If you're there was a period, free agent fighter a few years ago, you could look at ONE, they were making a push. You could look at Bellator, you could look at PFL, you could look at the UFC. Bellator's gone, ONE isn't signing those guys, and then there's PFL. So it feels like we've gone from like 4 to 2 all of a sudden. And if you're a UFC fighter who's looking for a big payday, or if you're a Michael Venom Page who's looking for the big payday, how many options do you have? One, outside of the place that you just left? That's not great. Compare that to if you were a quote-unquote free agent in boxing, and you want to sign with maybe PBC or Top Rank or Golden Boy or Matchroom or Queensberry or Boxer, or there's options. It feels like there's way, way, way more options in boxing right now for fighters as opposed to in MMA. This isn't good. There's not a lot of talent. Like the UFC is putting on so many events, plus Contender Series, plus Ultimate Fight. Like there's just not a lot of talent to scoop up. That's why I said last week, one of the most important things that PFL could do is try to beef up their talent scouting, if you will, fighter scouting, to try to go out there and get people before the UFC can get to them. So I don't know what is going to happen to ONE. I would say they're probably best served just focusing on the market, which is a pretty damn big market that they're most popular in. And, a one-off event in America isn't going to make or break you, but they just don't have the names, it feels like right now, in America that will get people excited, that will sell a boatload of tickets, that, who knows? DJ may not fight again. Eddie's gone. who are they coming to America with that's going to like really sell out a big arena and get people all that excited? So it's tough. I don't take everything that he said about one, as gospel. Take it with a bit or a few or multiple grains of salt. But yeah, there's been a ton written about their financial issues, about their financial future, about all this stuff, and it doesn't sound great. And I want it to be good. I want there to be more promotions. I think that's best for fighters. It's great for us, but most importantly, it's great for fighters. It's great for them to have options. It's great for them to have places to go. It's great for them to have places to negotiate with, have leverage with, all that stuff. And right now, I feel like it's pretty bleak. And it's weird to say that because the UFC is doing better than ever. The UFC is on fire. I'm just talking about the rest. And I think the sport is ultimately most healthy when there are other promotions thriving and coming up. They don't all have to be one. And it would be silly to think that you can be one in the short term, even really in like the next 5-10 years, but unless something totally crazy happened. But I don't feel like there's any real 2, 3, 4 anymore. And that's not good, in my opinion. Zico, hey, Ariel and the crew. I've seen rumors today that Kevin Holland will fight Michael Venom Page at UFC 297. Is this utter tosh or has some validity in your mind? Cheers, Z. So Dana White did an interview with the Full Send guys. And I guess in this interview, they did it in the UFC offices, the war room, as they like to say. And they had that thing on the wall with the names and the fight cards and all this stuff. And I saw some people saying that they were pouring through it frame by frame, looking to cross-reference. Golly, that is exhausting. But Michael Venom Page is a big story, and he has not signed with the UFC just yet. And so, yes, I did check in on this, and he still hasn't signed with the UFC just yet. Do I think when push comes to shove, he does sign with the UFC? Yes, in large part because of what I just said. There aren't a ton of options. And I think he's at a point in his career now where he wants to be in the UFC and wants to test himself. But, if someone's going to come in there with an offer that's going to blow him out of the water, I really think it's down to two places. It's down to PFL and UFC. I'm not breaking any major news by saying that. And I think if he had to pick, he would rather be in the UFC because he was just in Bellator for the past 10 years. And so on this board, for those that missed it, for the January 20th pay-per-view, which I guess would be 297, it said Paige Holland. Now, I asked both sides, nothing done. Has it been sort of floated? Yes, but nothing anywhere near. You have to remember, those boards aren't done deals. It's a mix of done deals, but also like wish list stuff. So let's see. Could it happen? Absolutely. Is the clock ticking? I mean, that card is in a month and a half from now. So could it happen if they sign him at 298 in Arizona or 299? It appears that's going to be in Miami based on what Sean O'Malley tweeted. 100%. The bigger question is, should Michael Venom Page sign with the UFC? I think yes. If it's a good deal, it's time. Is Kevin Holland a good first fight for him in the UFC? I think yes. I like that fight. Why not? I like that fight a lot. How do you feel about that fight, GC? You like that fight? MVP Kevin Holland for his debut? Feels like an appropriate debut, big fight, would get people excited, no?
Yeah, perfect. Give him a top 15 fight, really see where he's at. Against an exciting guy in Kevin Holland, sign me up.
I like it.
I'm there. I mean, I was one of those guys pouring over screenshot by screenshot.
You were doing that too?
Yeah, actually, it was kind of tough to find in the video. Like the interview itself, like it was really just for like 5 seconds.
People go crazy over this
on
stuff.
like an hour and a half long video. I don't know how someone originally spotted it.
I think Corey Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov was on there too.
Yeah, but that was for the February 10th one that Joe Pyfer's already been announced.
Yeah, see, also, I know for a fact that interview was taped at least a week ago, if not more. So
yeah, it had to be because Jalen Turner was also listed as fighting someone
there you
as
go.
well.
You really did pour over the footage. Wow. Well,
I was trying to see if we could get a date for UFC 300. There was the April 6th card,
yes.
But
I have heard that, but I don't know if that's 100%.
oh God,
Is
have
that
I told
bad?
you my dilemma with this?
No.
Oh my God.
What? Tell me.
We might as well get it out in the open here.
It's a problem? I thought we were
Huge
going.
problem. Huge problem if that is the date. Two of my very good friends, very best friends in the world, are both getting married that weekend, the 5th and the 6th,
oh
the
my
Friday
God.
and the Saturday. I am in both weddings. Have already agreed to be in both. And now I'm just terrified that that is going to be the weekend of UFC 300.
It'll be a trilemma.
Okay, well, first of all, where are the 2 weddings?
Atlanta.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to travel.
We'll have to travel to Atlanta.
Yeah, you have to travel to Atlanta.
Right.
I thought like one is in New York and one is in Boston or something.
No. They're both in Atlanta. I'm going to make the weekend happen. The weekend's actually going to be a very fun weekend. Very much looking forward to it. Can't wait to see my guys get married. But if it's UFC 300, it's just... Whew. You tell me I'm going to be standing up there in a suit, looking like that while we're on the prelims of UFC 300.
Will you be devastated?
Devastated, yeah. It will be like a shot.
I thought we were going to go to Vegas.
I thought so too. I have presented this to you guys, and you guys were like, "It is Final Four weekend. They don't really compete."
You did? Did you really?
Yeah. You actually said those exact words to try and make me feel better. It is Final Four weekend. They don't like.
I don't feel like. Please don't write that I'm saying it's happening that weekend. I don't even think anyone knows at this point. But it's obviously going to be in April, right?
I was hitting the enhances heavy to try and see if I could find it. No fights listed.
It's going to be in April. It's not going to be the first weekend of April. Why? Because that's WrestleMania, and now they're owned by the same company, and they're not going to go head to head. 300 and WrestleMania on the same weekend.
That is the first weekend of April.
Is it?
I believe so. April 6th.
Well,
because that would mean March 38th would be the last one.
WrestleMania. April 6th. Yeah, I don't know. That would surprise me.
Is that when WrestleMania is?
Yes. So
wow, this is another stake through the heart right here.
No,
I was actually really considering
going to WrestleMania.
Go to WrestleMania in Philadelphia.
Nah, you don't care about that.
This is a stake through the heart. Actually, but yes, a million times over.
I would be shocked if they do WrestleMania up against UFC 300. I would be blown away. Unless they're going to do like WrestleMania during the day, I just would be blown away. It's the same company. Why would you do that?
All right, I like this.
I would be shocked.
I like where we're
So I'm giving you some hope. For some reason I thought it was. Yeah, I guess the 6th would mean March.
If Final Four
29th.
WrestleMania, we don't want to compete with that. Let's just do it the next
weekend. So WrestleMania
weekend.
is usually on Final Four weekend.
I have confirmed that is Final Four weekend as well.
Yeah.
I mean, why do UFC 300 then? Get your own weekend. You're just competing with the Masters, golf.
I would be
boring,
shocked.
Snoozer. This is great news. I mean, it's been keeping me up at night. I mean, it's just like,
let's see.
What am I going to do?
Watch me be wrong. I don't know, but like that honestly would blow me away. I have no intel here whatsoever.
Because if it's not, then we're in Vegas. I mean, it's just that easy. We'll be there.
Let me just check something real quick here. It's always a problem. April Passover 2024.
Oh,
when is Passover 2024?
So we're trying to thread the needle here.
Oh, we're trying. There's a lot of needles to.
Weddings, Passover.
Oh, April 22nd. We're good.
Wow. So we need that weekend.
That 13th.
April 13th
is a prime.
April 13th.
Come on, Dana.
Dana, I know you're watching, bro.
Come
April
on.
13th. Let's thread that needle. That's what we need for UFC 300. Because if so, I mean, we're boots on the ground over there.
Honestly, after the show, I'll inquire more. I haven't really asked anyone. I did see the screen grab of the 6th, and I was like, all right, fine, the 6th. We knew it was going to be April, just by virtue of 299 being in Miami on March 9th, I think.
I would like to think, because that's all the boards they had up. The last one was the 6th. I like to think that they have their own wall dedicated to UFC 300.
Was there anything under?
That's going to be April 13th.
Like, was there anything under those dates?
No fights listed.
It was just TBA?
Yeah. I think it may have even said location TBA. I mean, I was trying to enhance heavy.
Allegiant Stadium?
We were rocking. Wow. Hopefully not. Hopefully we're talking April 13th. I'm talking like I've already purchased the suits and the ties.
No, you can't miss your friend's wedding.
And these are like friends that go way, way, way back. Roommates, guy that I've known since I was like 5. Like, can't miss.
I was supposed to do a watch party in Toronto for the pay-per-view, and now I can't because it's one of my best friend's son's bar mitzvah that night. So
these people learn
I've screwed over Toronto left and right.
Can you guys not plan around the UFC pay-per-views for us? Thank you.
It'd be nice. All right, so let's see. Chase, what's up, Ariel and crew? I have a different perspective on the Paddy versus Tony fight. I'm curious what you think. Instead of the narrative that the UFC is feeding Tony to Paddy as a stepping stone, maybe the UFC has realized that Paddy has reached his full potential as a fighter and that his stardom has reached its cap. They know his current fan base will stay loyal, and his antics over the past year have gained some haters. I suggest they are actually feeding Paddy to Tony. Paddy's gained a ton of haters for shit-talking Tony. Has he? I don't know. Has he been disrespectful of Tony? I haven't really seen that. Tony gets tons of love for being the one to shut up Paddy, and people no longer want to see him retire. interest in both fighters' next fights increases. Much love to you and the crew. Okay, I understand where you're coming from, but if that was in fact true, if they have lost all hope in Paddy, which I don't think they have, if they feel like he's reached a ceiling, which I don't think they have, I kind of feel like they would have given him someone younger, someone who would have had a greater chance of beating him. You just don't know at this stage in Tony's career. And even if Tony wins the fight, I think everyone would agree he doesn't have much left, in the tank. Back 9 of his career, back 3 of his career, if that's a term. So I get what you're saying. I would, if I had to pick one direction, I would say they're trying to get Paddy a nice win over a legend like Tony Ferguson. Again, understand what you're saying, but I don't think if you're trying to, for lack of a better word, kill off Paddy, which I don't think they are, but if you're trying to do that, I think you give him a younger guy who's more of a sure thing.
Also, I don't think they're saying that Paddy has been talking shit, saying that if he lost, he would talk shit, and therefore gain stock of having more people dislike him and be interested in what his next fight is.
Yeah, maybe.
If you fully believe in this, you can get Tony Ferguson for plus 205 right now.
Really?
Yeah, pretty big underdog.
Ultimately, I just think it's like a 50-50 fight, and it's going to be one of the most talked about fights that weekend on a card that is pretty damn great. Seems like it was the right call based on the interest in the fight. And really, there's, like, when you compare it to some of the other fights on this card, namely, off the top of my head, main event, Leon Colby, welterweight title, and the Ian Gary fight has a ton at stake because he's so close to, like, really taking that big step against a tough guy like Vicente Luque. And people are talking about that fight, not to mention the flyweight title fight. People are talking about that fight as much as all the others. That, to me, tells me it's a fight that was worth making. We'll truly be able to figure out, like, what the full extent of the damage is or was once the fight happens. But I've no real issues with the fight, and I don't think they're trying to kill off Paddy. Do you agree with that? If they're trying to kill off Paddy,
let me just
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was just gonna say, if they're trying to kill off Paddy, I think they would have given him someone a lot tougher than Tony.
Neither of these guys is at the point in their career where they're getting fed anybody. Neither side of this equation. Neither of them is good enough at this point that, like, anybody's getting fed to them. That's just not a reality. To be fed to some that, like, you're talking upper echelon level fighters. This is just a fight. It's just a fight. There's no ulterior, like, we're putting this guy in here to, like, they're not good enough for that. Like, all due respect,
it's
Tony Ferguson's best years are behind
fight.
him, and Paddy's on the way up and not shown to be that caliber of fighter. It's what you said. It's an intriguing fight, proper matchmaking. There's no side of this where it's like one guy is being sacrificed at the altar of the other. Yeah. Neither of them has shown to be the one to take advantage of that. That's not who they are as fighters. They are just in the mix. There's no being fed in either side of this equation.
And by the way, you know how it's like a good 50-50 fight? It's because there's a whole camp of people who think one side is being fed and the other side that thinks the other camp. So, like,
exactly.
That means
they've done well.
Yeah. Stefan Lanzi, Shalom Ariel, Shalom. I return with the same question as last week, as Frank mysteriously left me at the chopping board. I thought it was a good question, but I'll leave it up to you. All right, here we go. You spoke with Jake Paul about Netflix potentially getting into the boxing business. Is this a possibility for any of the PFL entities? How much of a game changer could this be for PFL, or any promotion for that matter, with the sheer number of Netflix subscribers worldwide? I know of at least one growing promoter who might call it, quote unquote, disruptive. Much love, your boy Lanzi. I have not heard anything regarding Netflix and PFL. It has long been rumored that Netflix is going to, at some point, getting into the live content business. And in addition to that, the live sports content business. They dipped their toe in the golf waters, I do believe, very recently. I was listening to a podcast, the Marshan and Oran podcast, which is like a sports media podcast, and they were talking about how they weren't all that impressed with the broadcast. I think it was actually, was it PGA guys against F1 guys or tennis guys? I think they were playing off the shows, which one of them is produced, the golf one is produced by Vox Media, in some sort of like celebrity tournament thingy. I have not heard anything about Netflix and PFL. I again think that PFL is going back to ESPN. They want Bellator to go somewhere else, to be on a different platform. Maybe Amazon. I said on Monday, Amazon PBC, close to a deal. And this has gone picked up everywhere. And some people have asked me about follow-ups on that. It's unclear, A, how much they're getting paid. That's PBC I'm talking about here. I'm told it's not a time buy, but you have to know the deal, right? Like the DAZN Matchroom deal was a great deal for Matchroom. The ESPN UFC deal was a great deal for the UFC. The initial PFL ESPN deal wasn't a great deal for PFL. So just because you're on the platform doesn't necessarily mean that you're making a boatload of money. I suspect Amazon is a lot further along. I don't even suspect that. Just by virtue of the NFL being on there, One Championship being on there, other entities, a lot further along in the live sports game than Netflix is. Eventually, I do think Netflix gets there, and I've not heard anything about them having any interest in MMA or PFL in particular. So I'm really curious to see where this Bellator content lands. I think a much better chance of an Amazon as opposed to a Netflix. There's also Apple out there, but I haven't heard much interest in Apple. Apple having interest in any sort of combat sport. But it's fascinating days. There's WBD out there as well. Here in America, and that would be TNT, Turner, True TV, etc. And I know there was some talks between PFL and them, but I don't think that they are a player for this PFL deal. I know there was some talks between them and PBC. There could be a second PBC home as well. Look out for that. A lot happening here, and it's going to get fascinating, even more fascinating in the world of sports TV, because the NBA deal is coming up for the first time in like 10 years. And there are some people who think that they may go to some sort of variation of ESPN, Turner, Amazon, or Apple, maybe even NBC/Peacock as well. And there's a lot of people who think that once that deal is done, then the other dominoes will fall. So anyway, Netflix, fascinating, but I haven't heard them tied to PFL. By the way, a few weeks ago, I think I was talking with you guys about the NBA in-season tournament. I have to say, would I like it more if Europe was involved? No, but listen, yesterday I was
all of a sudden the Knicks are in it.
1,000%. I completely
Andre
agree.
Drummond getting fouled with 10 minutes left in the third quarter, down 33.
Not bad. That's good drama right there.
Bullshit. That's not drama, dude.
That's good drama.
Ruining it. It's terrible.
Come on.
It's terrible.
Late November, no one cares about the NBA in late November.
Right, and I don't care about the in-season tournament.
I still don't care about the NBA in late
Knicks
November.
at Bucks next Tuesday. I'm kind of locked in.
Get out of here.
If the Knicks
Garbage.
If the Knicks could go to Las Vegas and win a trophy in my lifetime, this might be my only chance to see the Knicks win anything in my lifetime.
Would you buy a in-season tournament champions shirt, hat, all that, the merch, if you guys won the in-season tournament?
I think so.
It's disgusting.
This might be my only chance.
Well, this is all this is an assessment of the depravity of your fandom, right? Like,
1,000%.
we don't care because
1,000%.
I only care. Like,
yeah,
I want my team to compete for NBA titles. I don't care about this nonsense.
Also, your team didn't advance. My team did.
Any chance they're going to get rid of it once they've re-signed this new TV deal?
No. In fact, I've only seen, like, I've listened to some of the the pundits, Simmons, etc. They all love it. They all say it's great. There's a few things I don't. Well, because it's given us a reason to care about November basketball.
I just couldn't disagree more. It doesn't make anyone care more.
Oh, that's so wrong. When we get to the semis in Vegas and it's going to be like a weekend of elimination basketball in a neutral territory, you're going to in early December, you're going to be locked in. You're
eliminated from what? More in-season games?
Nah, there's a trophy.
More regular games.
Oh yeah, we know there's a trophy. It's on every court. It's every social media
I hate
accounts,
the
pictures.
I hate the court. I hate the jerseys. I hate all that nonsense. Knicks, Bucks next Tuesday. I'm locked in, baby.
I can't wait for them to get bounced. Then you come in here and be like, the in-season tournament's the biggest crock of horse shit.
I could feel all the Knicks fans in my life rooting for the Heat, so that they would have the home court against the Bucks.
Of course, we're a pathetic bunch of losers. Of course, I fully agree with all this.
I'm at least glad you own up to it.
1,000%.
Yeah.
But listen, life's too short. All right, can I just get one championship in my lifetime? The Bills are breaking my heart. The Knicks aren't winning the title.
It's a side quest.
Yeah,
you've got the
it's not
main
a
goals
real
and it's a side quest.
championship.
And you know what? I can support individual fan bases cheering for
I'm
that.
looking at the standings yesterday. I'm like,
care.
okay, so if this happens and then this happens, I'm not looking at the standings in November for anything. You know what I mean? The one thing I will say though, if they included some Euro teams in there, just some non-NBA teams, G League, Euro, it would have made it that much cooler. Could you imagine? Like, you know how the Pacers are in the top 4 here. Imagine one of them was Barcelona or Real Madrid, and there's like a little engine
100%.
that would
It
have
would
been
be
amazing.
way cooler.
If they-
or if a G
if
League
they
team made a
do
run.
that- If they do that, then I care. If they do that, then I care. But these games that are already games on the calendar, I don't care. What am I supposed to? It's the same thing.
Because you guys have a NBA 2K court. And
I hate the court. No, I said I hate the court. I hate the trophy. I hate the jerseys. Is it kind of like a PFL Is the NBA in-season tournament sort of like the Bellator to the PFL regular season? Like we don't really know what it is, but it's just there as a side quest? No, it's not that.
Because it's literally the same games. There's nothing different. It's not even different.
These players,
it's not even a different product.
don't win the in-season tournament championship, they're losing no sleep. They don't care.
If they up the stakes, like the winner of this thing is guaranteed a playoff spot or something.
That would be cooler. Yeah. Will the Knicks hang a banner if they win the in-season tournament?
This is a great question. And why? By the way, I take umbrage with the fact that you say the Knicks. Like, what about if the Pacers get it? They've never won an NBA title.
Would the Pacers hang a banner?
I know, but I know why you said the Knicks, because there's always that picture like, secured home court advantage banner.
I mean, you guys can hang it right next to the Billy Joel 180 conference.
Yeah, and that's and that's a very well-deserved banner.
Billy Joel's is great.
Okay, it's a good question. Should the winner of this thing hang a banner?
In
For
my
the fan
opinion,
base,
no.
yeah. If the fan base cares,
I say no.
they should, but I don't care.
I say no.
I do not care.
I say no. When you do it at the next regular season game?
Yes. If the
Wouldn't care.
You would. You're a liar.
I would not. I'm not.
If the Cavs
Last
were
night,
playing in Vegas,
I didn't even think for 1 second about, how many point differential do they need to blah, blah. Didn't care. Don't care.
All I saw was
never
Andre
cared.
Drummond getting fouled.
That was good.
Down 33. And the coaches having to explain to each other why the fuck they were doing
it was just Billy Donovan was mad, and so Missoula.
Why? Of course he's mad. He's losing by 33, and they're fouling their worst
Guess what? Donovan should have known the rules, just like Missoula knew the rules.
Ruining the game.
That's not ruining the game. There's a lot.
What happened to the game I love? Mark Jackson. What happened to the game I love?
Load management. The reason why this is happening is because load management was ruining the game, and so they had to get people, invested and give them a reason to play. Nate fought a bear. Hello, MMA Hour crew. This question is pointing at Rick, as he is the resident John Jones fan, but I'd like to hear the rest of the crew's responses as well. Tommy Aspinall. By the way, my kids, look at Frank. My kids are singing Tommy Aspinall at home because they were at the live show and they like the song. Aspinall, Tommy Aspinall is willing and said he wants to take on all comers, specifically Stipe, since John is sidelined with an injury. If Stipe and John do end up fighting for the heavyweight title and the winner retires without fighting our boy Tom, this belt shall forever be known as the UFC Disputed Heavyweight Championship. Yes or no, please discuss. I mean, you can make a case that it's that already because Francis never lost the belt, but nevertheless, your thoughts, Mr. Rick.
Sorry, give it to me one more time.
You check out on me
I have construction at the house. I have construction at the house, and there was some banging, and I could not.
Pretty lengthy question.
Basically, he is saying Tom Aspinall wants to fight everyone. And he has said, if John is sidelined with an injury, I'll fight Stipe. This is what Tom Aspinall said. If Stipe and John do end up fighting for the heavyweight title, and the winner retires without fighting Mr. Aspinall, this man is saying, Nate fought a bear, this belt shall forever be known as the UFC Disputed Heavyweight Championship. Yes or no, please discuss. I added that Francis never losing the belt already makes it somewhat disputed, but nevertheless, you say no. Why?
Because nobody cares what the actual path to any of this is, as you just illustrated, right? John Jones is the only one in this conversation when Francis Ngannou held the title and never lost it. So, like, whoever is the UFC champion is by default the global heavyweight champion, and that's the only thing that matters and the only thing that anybody cares about. Nobody will care about the nuance. It will be gone as quickly as it was gone when Francis left the UFC. It happened real quick. John Jones became the heavyweight champion right away, and everybody moved on. So no, wouldn't matter one bit.
I agree. I would also say I would love, I don't think Stipe does it, but if John is going to be out for quite some time, sign me up for Aspinall versus Stipe, and the winner faces John. That's the most fair thing to do, and that should be.
It just becomes it becomes an economics thing. Is it worth giving Stipe Miocic that money to fight Tom Aspinall to essentially king him, to make him a king, and now lead toward that John Jones fight, or do you reserve Stipe for John Jones? It's. I don't think it has anything to do with how the division is or moving or whatever. It just becomes economics. It becomes, is it worth it to promote this and make Tom a heavyweight king and then set up that John Jones fight? Because I'm assuming, by the way, in that, I'm assuming that Tom smokes Stipe like pretty.
It's a tough fight
clearly.
for Stipe. It's a tough fight for Stipe at this juncture. I say do Aspinall versus Stipe in Nottingham. Site of Stipe versus Stefan Struve 12 years ago. Stipe lost to Stefan Struve that night. It was UFC on Fuel TV. He can right the wrong back in England against their prodigal son. I mean, that's just.
But here's my thing.
Yes.
Is that win over Stipe that significant for Tom, right? In the sense that, like, if he wins that, how much of the fan base is going to say, he beat up an old Stipe? You know, I don't know if it's worth the monetary cost to put Stipe in there, just quite frankly.
No, I get that.
Because I don't think Tom is going to get a huge benefit from it. Like, they're just going to be like, yeah, the young guy smoked the old guy. Moving on. We wanted John Jones anyway.
This is what
Stipe's in a tough spot. Stipe's in a tough spot, like, promotionally. Where do you put him? John Jones was the fight, but now it's like milk. It's like milk sitting out in the sun.
He's in a tough spot. You know why he's in a tough spot? All they had to do was make that fight in November at MSG a couple weeks ago for the vacant title. And then you do Stipe versus John as the legendary fight, and no one cares if there's a belt attached. And you let Tom go out there and fight Ciryl Gane or Curtis Blades or whomever. And this would have been perfect. But they didn't do that, unfortunately. Connor, hey, Ariel, whatever happened to the guy who did the fan-made UFC pay-per-view promo videos on YouTube? His profile was Nick the Face. Yes. I often wondered if he ended up getting hired by the UFC or another promotion. Absolute legendary promo video. Rick, do you remember back in the day, this guy, Nick the Face? I remember him. And there was another one called Lookout Whale.
Lookout a Whale.
Lookout a Whale. Yes. These guys were, the internet was a much nicer place back then. And there wasn't as much content. And there were these guys, I'm pretty sure this is, I mean, I think GC was like in third grade when these guys were making videos. And they would put out these amazing fan-made, what was one that was there was one that I think I watched over and over again. It might have been a John Jones DC one. Maybe before the first fight, or it could have been a Connor one. We're talking like 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I remember I even remember like the end stinger was like a clown sound or something like that, if memory serves me correct. Anyway, these guys were great. And there was a push, I think, on the UG to get one of them hired by the UFC to make the promos. I don't know whatever happened to those guys. I don't think. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see the last time. Nick the Face, legend. That's a throwback right there. Nick the Face. There he is. His last video was 10 years ago, UFC 168, Weidman Silva 2 trailer. Maybe this is the one I'm thinking about. 1 million views. There's another one here for 657. There's a bunch of these guys from back in the day. What was the other one? Look out. What was it? Look at a Whale?
Look Out a Whale.
What a weird name.
I don't know how any of this has aged, but I just remember GS Pimp. That was the original.
Yes, there's the thing. Okay. His last upload was 8 years ago. Wow. This looks like an old Dustin Poirier video.
Yeah. It's definitely of an era for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys, I don't know where they went, but that was a good time. UFC 83. It's crazy. It's like going into like some kind of time capsule. I don't know what happened to them. I hope they're okay. And I hope they got hired by the UFC. Nick the Dane. We go from Nick the Face to Nick the Dane. Greetings and salutations. Spill the beans. Is Kayla coming to the UFC, or is she going to stick around for the Cyborg Showdown and or Pacheco rubber match? Dat Dane Nick. P.S. Frank. Would you mind randomly switching up some of the soundtrack effects for snippets of Tool songs? You interested in that?
It's the wrong kind of attention that I want.
Also, I don't think we have the right to do that, right?
Like a snippet would probably fly under the radar, but again, not cool.
Kayla to the UFC is a good question. Obviously, there was some talk like a year and a half or so ago, and you'll recall there was an offer on the table that she signed to go and fight in Bellator. She was going to fight on that Hawaii card. Was that earlier this year now? It might have been last year going into, or was that 2 years ago? Everything is blending together. It might have been earlier this year. It feels so long ago. Anyway, there isn't really a 145-pound division in the UFC anymore. And I don't think she can make 135, as she showed us last week. Guns. I feel like the best move now is to stick around, and you've got the Cyborg fight. What's bigger? UFC is the biggest, no doubt about it. But in terms of actual competition, which is what she wants, fighting some, lesser known talent at 145 in the UFC, or fighting Cyborg and Pacheco in PFL Bellator, feels like it's a greater challenge to do that. She just might want a change of scenery. Look at what happened to Michael Chandler when he went from Bellator to the UFC. His profile exploded. He became infinitely more popular. So she might want that, but I have not heard anything. And as she said, technically there's one fight left on her contract, but the reason why she's also technically about to become a free agent is because there's a term date attached to it, and they're not going to have an event, so it's essentially done. If I were them, I would keep her. She's a very talented and marketable fighter, and if I were them, I would do the Cyborg Kayla fight tomorrow and have Pacheco fight the winner. If you roll the dice and do Cyborg Pacheco, A, you might lose Kayla, and B, you might lose that Cyborg Kayla fight because Kayla might not want to wait, and B, Cyborg might lose to Pacheco, and now you've just played with fire. Wade, hola Ariel, short-time listener, first-time caller. Okay. I loved your cameo in the first edition of Canvas magazine. What a great first edition. Thank you. Did an interview with Katie Taylor's mom. I didn't even know it was going to go in this magazine, and there it was. So, yeah, it was cool. It was when I was there for the first fight with DAZN. I was wondering if there are any other MMA boxing magazines out there worth checking out. Thank you for everything that you do. Used to be a great market. Fight Magazine was great back in the day. Fighters Only was great back in the day. There aren't, Ring Magazine. Is there any magazine out there that covers MMA that actually, I don't even think there is an MMA magazine. Am I crazy? Rick, you might know this.
Yeah, I don't think there's any print anymore. I think everything's digital at this point.
Do you remember the fight days and the Fighters Only days? I don't think Fighters Only prints an actual magazine every month.
I don't think
right?
so, and I don't think Ring does either, unless I'm mistaken. I believe that they're only digital now.
What's interesting is if you and GC might have seen this, the magazine market in the UK and in Europe is much different than here in America. You go to one of those stores like WH Smith in England, you could find a boxing magazine or two. I didn't see any MMA magazines. You could definitely find a bunch of soccer magazines or football magazines, 442 and all that stuff. But I don't know. GC, you ever see any MMA magazines? Sorry.
None. I've looked too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know any of them. Fighters Only used to be one.
Yeah.
Canvas though.
Everything's going to be so old now. It's so tough. Everything's going to be so dated. Like even back then, by the time you got your magazine, it was dated. Now it's like, it's impossible. You can't keep up. You can't keep up. You have to be digital.
100%.
That's 100% true. The magazine market was good when the UFC had, 8 events a year or 10 events a year or something like that. Same with wrestling, but now there's just too much that happens. That plus the rise of the internet, by the time you get to the magazine, like the dude that you put on the cover might not be fighting. He might have been injured. The fight might have changed. He might be it's just not.
Especially if you're doing a monthly magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just think about let's say it was right before Khamzat's 2 fights on Fight Island. You put out a magazine, you put it out, and then Khamzat Chimaev bursts onto the scene and is the guy that everybody's talking about, and your magazine's talking about some event from last month.
Yeah.
It's useless to everybody. So it just doesn't work anymore, unfortunately, unless you're doing real nice feature writing, evergreen stuff, stories, lifestyle, and nothing to do with the sport.
I don't even know if the audience wants that. I don't even.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why wouldn't you just make it a YouTube video?
That's the thing. I don't even know if the audience has the attention span for that anymore or the appreciation for that. There are great writers in MMA. our own Shaheen, Chuck, Ben, etc., etc. There's many others. And I just don't know if there's enough people that want to read a magazine once a month. I would do it.
Are you guys physical physical guys, or are you digital?
Yeah, gotta be.
Like, do you
Gotta be.
have Kindle, or
No.
are you like
You're a
physicals?
Kindle guy, Frank?
Physical.
I do, but magazines are just, I don't know if it's nostalgia or what, but I just love a good magazine.
Oh, okay. You are a physical guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a big physical guy. Book, magazine.
Me
Can't
too.
do the
I
digital.
hate Kindle.
Okay, so all of
Can't
us.
do it.
Yeah. Newspaper, I'd rather
All right, so
read
they've
the
got
newspaper.
4. They've got 4 if they can put something good out.
You remember
Oh,
when
I
we
would
got
love
off,
it
at
if
least?
you could do a cool. Like, I still subscribe to a couple magazines. Slam.
Oh, you still get Slam?
Oh yeah, still get Slam to the house.
That's amazing.
I got GQ. Got a GQ subscription. So if you see me,
It's
you know,
nice.
some nice clothes.
Yeah.
Whalebone, a cool local magazine here. Yeah, I mean, if they made one, I always got magazines growing up. Sports Illustrated every
Me
week.
too. Sports
Nickelodeon
Variety.
magazine, shout out. Variety, Mad magazine.
Oh yeah.
Good times.
Cracked.
Good times.
Cracked was great. Mad. Yeah.
I
Throwback. Wow.
I recall the UFC magazine was solid back in the day as well. I remember that. It was sort of like a hybrid of UFC content and stuff, or FHM or Maxim. You know, like they would have
Lifestyle combined with the sport.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love a good magazine. Love when you're at the airport and you get one for the plane.
fresh. It's
Throw
all
it back.
fresh and
I mean,
shiny.
Throw it back.
You know,
Real nostalgia.
Magazines are back, baby. We just did it. We brought
Yeah,
them
I
back.
wish.
Something I
We're
noticed.
starting
really
one
ever
up.
complained
We're
about-
starting one up.
the ads in a magazine, right? Like, did you
Yeah,
ever
'cause you
like
just
finish a
flip right through
magazine
it.
and you're like, God, there's so many ads in there.
You just flip right through.
Go to a
it.
website, one ad is too many.
I mean, GQ, the ones that I get now, the first 25 pages.
Right,
are ads.
that is annoying.
It's just like you're just flipping through ads and ads and ads and cologne.
I used to
You
love
gotta
going to the
scratch
magazine
this
shop in Montreal. It was called Multimags, and or it was Maison de la Presse Internationale, and I would get all the American magazines, and it was so exciting. There was one Slam that I used to carry around. Actually, the Sean Kemp one, and also the LJ one back in the day. I used to freaking walk around with that thing. I loved that. Those were great days. WCW magazine back in the day was great.
Wow.
WWF magazine back in the day was
it.
great.
Love it. I mean, there was like no better feeling than it's just like late July, early August. You go and get the fantasy football preview magazine.
Oh yeah,
Those were special times, man.
Or
I used to flip
Baseball
through.
America?
Beck
Oh, baseball America.
I used to
shout
flip
out.
through Beckett and Wizard and just look at like prices of things. Like I would
the
just be
Beckett?
looking for like,
Yeah.
what is
East
this
Bay?
worth? Yeah,
Any East Bay guys?
East Bay
here?
for sure.
Shout
Oh,
out,
yeah.
man.
East Bay,
Big time.
but wasn't East Bay more of like a
Shopping
catalog?
catalog, yeah,
Yeah.
but it was still fun to flip through. I mean, man.
Oh yeah, I
Throw
love
it
that.
back.
Should we
Consumer
start
culture,
one?
baby.
Should we start one?
We're starting.
Yeah, I
one.
mean,
We decided.
it
do
feels
it.
like magazines are thriving at ESPN when ESPN Mag went under. That was good times.
Oh yeah, that's
Can we do a
right.
radio show too?
Yeah, let's do magazine and radio shows. That's how we will spread the
MMA
word.
Rag and the MMA Air.
But do check out if you're able to get it. That canvas is a little bit more highbrow. It's sort of like Victory Journal, if you know what that is. I know you know what that is. With the very nice photography, thicker coffee table style.
Now we're talking.
And boxing is a great sport for something like that. A little bit, some panache, some class, things of that nature. So do check that out. All right, let us put a pin in the questions. Some great ones. We have several more to come, but for now, let us say hello to our first and only guest of the day. And I have to say, this is what it must feel like to reunite with a loved one. My palms are extremely sweaty. Can you see the sweat glistening off my palms? The heart is beating. It feels like it's coming out of my throat. There's nerves. I have to go to the bathroom. It's all very, like, there's a lot of anxiety, but it's good kind of anxiety. You know what I mean? It's like the butterflies formation in your stomach, because it's not often, my friends, it's not often that we get to reunite with a loved one on a special day like today. I mean, this is incredible stuff. And last year, around almost a year ago, in this studio, we reunited, but it was short, it was rushed, and if I'm being honest, it wasn't really in the spirit of our program, which pretty much was the only light in this world during the dark days of the pandemic, because that show was always via Zoom and never in person. And so I thought it would be apropos in this holiday season, like a warm hug, like a nice tall glass of milk with some warm cookies right next to it, to reunite, to get the band back together. And so without further ado, let us say hello to my old friend DC, who's on. What? You're on. This is. Oh my God! This is worse than the car interview. You're on the fucking golf court.
I'll be honest with you. I am addicted.
This is how you're joining this big interview. You're on the golf cart. Oh,
wait.
DC, when I die, I want you to be the one to put me in the ground because you can let me down one last time. I mean, it's time.
And I sat there and I heard you listening and talking about all this nonsense about magazines and all this. I mean, I don't even know what we're doing here at the MMA Hour. Like, I just sat there.
We're struggling.
I'm just astonished. Hey, but listen to me. I make the turn in one hole, and I'm stopping. I am putting my game on hold to talk to you.
This is the worst thing I've ever experienced.
Ariel, let's say this. Ariel.
Yes.
I am putting my game on hold, and promise you.
Oh my God! You got the glove too?
I got the glove. I am putting my game on hold to talk to you. And I am literally 1 under par through 8.
Wow. Can we watch? Can we watch you take the last shot?
Dude, I am so good. I've gotten so good. Dare I say?
Yeah.
Dare I say?
Yes.
I'm reaching Tiger levels.
Wow. Look at this guy.
Yeah, I'm getting very
good. What course are we at? What course?
I'm at a course called Quarter Ball.
Are you by yourself?
Northern California.
Oh, okay. You're not.
No. I'm with a couple of my friends. We're all playing. We're just trying to drive the cart here. It's beeping because we're just sliding backwards for some reason.
Oh my God, this guy. I mean, this has to be.
There we go. Let's go.
This is worse than you coming in and telling me that you were short on time last year. This shot.
Bro, I'm getting. Look, you want to see how beautiful it is out here?
It looks fantastic.
Look at this.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks tremendous.
It is. I mean, it is stunning. Look at that.
Wow. Where is this? Northern California? Gilroy?
Yeah, dude, it's literally Gilroy, baby. One of the most beautiful places in the entire
capital
country.
Of the world. Shout out.
Garlic capital, yeah.
So what are you trying to say here? You're going to leave and come back? I have to keep talking about magazines to kill time?
I'm literally going to just quit for the next however long we're doing the interview. I'm quitting.
Wait, you said you have one more shot. You have one more shot.
Yeah, on the front 9, but I don't know that I can do any better than I've done to this point. I'm really 1 under. I'm 1 under.
And by the way, you call it an interview. To me, this is a catch up with an old friend, but I guess to you, it's an interview. This is something.
A catch up. Yeah. Well, you're saying you told me yesterday.
Yeah.
You want to come on? When you asked me on Monday, you said, "Would you come on my show to do an interview?" I was like, "Wait, we're doing interviews now?"
No, I didn't say interview. I don't know if I use that word. If I'm being honest, I don't know.
Those are the words I can pull. Hey, listen, I can pull the text messages. You're good at that. Yeah. I'm good at that too. I'll pull the text. I will pull the text up. I will pull text messages up on you. I promise you.
So are we doing this from the golf cart? Is that what it's giving me anxiety, this?
No. I'm actually going to find a way. How do I do this? Hey, hold on. Could you drop me off at the clubhouse since you already hit? Tee off? Please? Because these guys have to tee off and they can ride together. Come on. Let's go.
So what
no, it's fine. Come on.
Man, I haven't seen you in so long. I don't recognize that white hair on the chin there.
Hey,
man.
let me ask you this, Ariel. Yes. You're Canadian.
Hey, what's
He's
up?
Canadian.
What's
He's
happening?
Olympic gold medalist.
Wow.
He's Olympic gold medalist, Stanley Cup champion. All this.
What's your name?
This guy's Canadian. Dan.
Oh, he can't hear me, right?
Boyle. Dan Boyle.
Oh, Dan
Boyle.
Boyle.
No, he can't hear
me.
Wait, Dan Boyle.
Did he play for the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Did you play Tampa Bay Lightning? That's right. He won the cup in 04.
Yeah.
He knows it. He knows
I had him on my fantasy team. Was his number 3?
He said he had you on his fantasy team. Were you number 3?
Oh, God, no. It's 22.
He was number 22.
Ah, shit.
Yeah,
but I did have him. Wow, look at you rolling with the Stanley Cup winners.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Stanley Cup champs out here and Olympic gold medal. Hey, listen. I didn't win the Olympics. I tried, but he did. So by like me and him being friends now, I won the Olympics. Does it work like that?
No, absolutely. But this is what we're learning here is you have shed the extra weight, the losers like me, and now you're rolling with the big dogs. Olympic gold medalists, Stanley Cup champions, Super Bowl champions. Look at you. I hardly even recognize you.
Wait, Ariel, don't be this guy. We're getting close, sorry. We're getting close.
Yeah. No. Everything doing well? I mean, how's life?
I'm going, yeah, life's good, man. Life's good. You know, I'm hanging out with Dan Boyle and playing golf and in the middle of the day. Like, could it be any better?
This is life. This is what you do now?
I've earned it.
No, of course.
I didn't say that. You've earned it. I've earned it.
How often do you play golf?
I play golf when I get a chance, right? Like, so if I'm working, the moment I'm done with like my meetings and stuff, I'll try to play golf. Or if I have a day off, like, so I go to Austin this week for the UFC fights, right?
Yeah. I
work fighter meetings from 9 till like 12. I have a tea time at 1. So I'll go play golf. And then on Friday, I don't play golf because I have to do my research. And then on Saturday morning, if the fights are at night, like on the East Coast, I go in the morning and I play golf.
Why'd you make that face when you said research?
Because Dominic Cruz is always lurking. He's always lurking. If Dominic Cruz hears that I'm playing golf and I'm redoing my research,
he's gonna get so upset. He's gonna get so mad.
All right, man. He's gonna get me.
Where are we going now?
I'm going to sit, bro. I'm going to sit where we're going to sit and do our catch-up.
Wow, this is great. Wow, what a guy.
It's amazing.
What a beautiful day there. What a beautiful day. Holy smokes.
Dude. California is the most beautiful place in the world. So all these guys moving, I'm like, I'm not leaving California. Okay, where y'all go?
Wow, look at this guy.
Here we go, look. Is this better?
He's made time for us. Can you take off the glove? I mean, it feels like someone who hangs out with you wearing their jacket. You know what I mean? It's like, it feels like you're in a rush.
It also feels dangerous. Like a guy with a glove is like always kind of scary.
Sure. I can make a joke right now about a guy with a glove, but I'm not going to make that joke.
Don't do it.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I tried to get you to do it.
I know. A couple times. We can say whatever we want here, by the way. I don't know if you know this. No one can cancel us here. Yeah. We say whatever we want.
Oh, you're so crazy. You can get canceled.
No, not me. I'm uncancelable, DC.
Anyone can get canceled, bro.
You know what's crazy about us talking today?
Talk to me.
Well, the crazy thing is that today is actually National Throw Out Your Leftovers Day. So I saw this, and I was like, I need to bring some leftovers back in my life. I need to bring some of that back. Everyone's throwing out their leftovers, but I need the leftovers back in my life. But in reality, it's a great day because it's National Lemon Cream Pie Day. Have you ever had a lemon cream pie?
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Look at me. I've had every pie. There is not a pie. There is not a pie in the world that I have not had. So, yeah, of course I've had lemon cream pie.
It's also National Rice Cake Day. I feel like you haven't had many of those.
No.
Yeah,
one time Tyler meant to try to give me rice cake. I slapped it out of his hand.
Yeah.
But I was cutting the 205. He's like, here's some rice cake. And he's like, oh, but I can make it really good. I'll put almond butter on it. I'm like, yeah, that does not sound appealing. It's not good. It's terrible.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Good, bro. Really good.
Yeah.
Good food. Yeah, it was so good.
You know what's so crazy about this? We haven't talked on the phone in so long. This would be our conversation on the phone, but I had to get you on to have this conversation.
Well, the problem is, like, you asked me to go in New York.
Yeah,
but I was
I
really
didn't want to bring that
busy,
up. I didn't want to bring that up.
And then I didn't go.
No.
And then you kind of like you canceled.
Nah. I needed to give you some space.
You blocked my phone number. You blocked my phone number.
No,
you blocked my phone number. Because I got green bubbles when I texted you.
Nah.
I got green bubbles when I texted you. And then your location was off.
What?
And that's when I was like, wait a minute. So he's mad at me. Because for years, guys, he's giving me his location.
No.
Because, like, I'm his boss. So, like, his location was off. And I was getting green bubbles. I was like, what is going on here?
Never for you. There are a few things I wanted to ask you about, though. I've been dying to get your thoughts. CM Punk, you see that?
Oh, my God. I texted him.
You texted him?
I go,
wow, what a flex.
I texted him. I said, dude, what a freaking pop. He goes, I couldn't even hear my music. It was so loud.
Wow.
He said it was so loud in there, he couldn't even hear his music. It's like, this is the new WWE, though, right? Like, it don't matter how bad it ended, you can always go back.
What's going on with the phone?
My thought, well, I'm trying to get a way to make it, like, stay up to where I don't have to keep holding it the whole time.
Yeah.
So my thought, and I always worry that it's going to be up my nose and there'll be like boogers.
No, it's good.
Okay. Okay, let me go back. So my thought is, Royal Rumble, maybe Sasha Banks comes back.
Nah, who cares?
Or Naomi. Dude, remember they were tag team champs? Like,
Nah.
oh, I know why you don't care.
Why?
Why? No, I just know. Oh, who cares? So CM Punk.
Yeah, CM Punk is the man. He's the best in the world. The legit boss. I mean, what has she ever done?
But she's won every championship. She's done everything. And right now, her name is like something Monet.
Yeah.
She's like rocking and rolling in Japan. Like, she's the best. Like, what are you talking about? You don't care.
Were you surprised that Punk came back?
So the thing about wrestling today is like, if you're on the internet at all, everybody's guessing.
Yeah.
It was in Chicago. So you thought if there was a time, maybe, I liked it. But if you're Randy Orton, you're pissed off, right? I mean, Randy Orton comes out, muscles popping everywhere. Boom, boom. He's all
he looked incredible. The freaking abs. He had like a 10-pack. Yeah.
I mean, he's like popping, big chest, big shoulders, big muscles, and then look in my eyes. It's like, oh, Randy Orton's back. Let's put him back in the tag team with Matt Riddle. Now we're all talking about CM Punk, right?
Riddle's gone.
I know, but I'm just saying, right? Like, that's what they were doing with Randy Orton before. But he came back. He's like important. Maybe he's the guy. He's big and strong. He could fight Roman Reigns. But then CM Punk comes back, and now it's like, Randy Orton. It's like good, but it's like still like, come on. I'm talking about CM Punk.
Someone asked me, I don't know anything about wrestling. What would you compare this to in MMA terms? Punk coming back, what would it be like in MMA terms? I was like, maybe Randy Couture, but I don't know. Like, what could you equate it? It's so big.
In terms of the breakup?
In terms of like the holy shit, they made peace and he's back.
Yeah. Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz coming back. Tito Ortiz coming back. Because right now, like, Tito Ortiz doesn't really come around at all. I'm obviously at the UFC all the time. There's not much mention made of him. He was like one of the biggest stars in the early days. Obviously, CM Punk was much more new generation, but probably like a Tito Ortiz type of guy, a guy that left on bad terms, or maybe you.
What if in Toronto my music plays? With the place going nuts, they'd be like, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
Or maybe you actually. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking Tito Ortiz. Maybe you coming back. Like, that might be the thing.
Me and Dana taking the picture. Mighty cold day in hell, pointing at each other.
Could you imagine? That's actually what CM Punk going back in. Now that I think about it.
And would you have him beat Roman?
CM Punk?
Yeah.
No. Cody Rhodes has to beat Roman Reigns.
Finish the story?
It still has to be Cody. Yeah. And dude, I'm telling you, I was in WrestleMania last year.
Yeah.
And it was the best night because the bloodline was running so hot for so long. And then the Usos lost on Saturday.
Yes.
On Sunday, everybody, 70,000 walked into SoFi ready for Cody to be, it was his coronation. They had the red carpet. He comes out. He kisses his child. He gives his belt to the guy from the Wyatt brothers, or the guy from the Wyatt family's kid, the one that passed away.
Yeah, Luke Harper.
I think his name is Luke Harper. I mean, it's beautiful. And I mean, I'm there the whole time just hoping he loses, right? Because I know how much it's going to hurt these people. Because in their sadness, I find joy. Because everybody thinks they know everything.
Yes.
I don't want to know wrestling to the point that I can't be surprised. I want to be surprised.
Better.
And dude, I was working for ESPN. I was doing the post-fight show, and I knew that if he won, everybody would be so mad and so disappointed. So, bro, as the match is going on, I go up to the set, and I'm sitting with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, and Cody hits the Cody Cutter. Oh my God, Cody Cutter! He hits him with the Cody Cutter. Bang! The crowd goes crazy. Everybody's losing their mind. And then he does the one. What's it called? When he flips over with him, when he put their arm in his armpit. And he hits his finishing move.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called.
He does his finishing move. And I go, and so I'm sitting up there with all these people, and they're all excited. Seth Rollins, he kicks out. Seth goes, "It take more than that to pin Roman," right? Because, like, they got a little bit of a thing, right? And he hits him with it again. Bang! That's going to take more than that. And so now you're on the edge of your seat, but you know that just because Solo Sikoa has been banned from ringside, there's a slight possibility he will come back. He comes back, boom! boom, Samoan spike to the side of the neck. Roman retains, and everybody leaves disappointed.
mad.
And they're just wallowing in their tears, leaving so far. 80,000 leaving just so disappointed. But I will say it was the best decision because it was best for business.
No.
Because they're selling more merch.
No.
They're selling more merch than ever. They're selling out every arena. When Roman comes back, it feels like a big deal. It was the right decision.
No, he doesn't even. He doesn't even defend. He doesn't even show up.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Every time he comes back, it's much bigger. It was the right decision.
To have both belts, and they had to create another one.
And that's okay because Seth Rollins has actually legitimized that belt.
He has.
It's so crazy that Roman's been away now, and Seth has worked so hard to legitimize it. You don't feel like you're watching a program with no champion.
No, he's
because they're there. And then my boy Gunther is just so good. Gunther, that's my favorite. He's my favorite wrestler all the time. He's my favorite. He has surpassed the Macho Man.
Wow, really? Even Seth, you love Seth.
I love Seth, but dude, Gunther does all. I got in a fight a while back with Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Because they were doing too many. They were doing too many flips.
Yes.
They were doing too many flips.
Yes.
It really pissed me off, all the flips.
Yes.
So because they were doing all the flips, I was like, dude, what about a body slam and like a splash or like a Gunther's move is a sleeper hole, a power bomb, and he does this splash off the top rope where he jumps off and just it's awesome. Him and that big guy, his name is Bronson Reed. He's kind of fat.
Yeah.
He does a tsunami where he just drops his weight on people.
Yo, his outfit is a little bit. He's got to change the outfit is not very appealing, right? I mean, Bronson.
Who?
He's like it's too much.
Love him.
You love that outfit?
Looks amazing.
He's got.
I think him and Nia Jax, dude. What? I love a fat wrestler.
No, but the outfit.
I think fat wrestlers are the best. Don't care, bro. He looks amazing. I love fat wrestlers, bro. I love like big, burly, fat wrestlers.
It's just not very appealing.
I kind of like Gunther like now, but I want him a little more fat.
Yeah.
Like when he was fat before.
When he was Walter.
I like when he was fat. He just chops you, bow, and he chops you. Yeah, I like it. It's been amazing to watch. I went to WrestleMania and I was all back in.
Are you gonna do more with them? You did the one off.
Yes. Well, I'm not gonna referee anymore. I'm not putting on. I'm not wearing stripes again. It's over, bro. That was too much.
Is there talks of you doing more? Will you show up again?
I haven't really spoken. They came to San Jose. They gave me and all my wrestling team tickets. So they gave us like 40 tickets. Nick Khan is the man.
The man.
Nick Khan is the absolute man. Gave us 40 tickets. I took my whole wrestling academy there. The kids had a great time. It was amazing. I love the WWE. My boys are rocking now. The Creed brother.
Oh yeah,
Julius Creed. They're gonna win the tag title. Yeah, he's great. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Okay, so I can almost hear. I'm not looking at the chat, but they're like, "You got DC on to talk about pro wrestling? Come on, we got to talk about something else." Even though I could talk to you about this for like 2 hours, because it's been so long since we spoke. It's just been so long. Could we talk a little bit of some stuff that we just talked about on the show? I maintain that it was a huge mistake to not give Tom Aspinall the undisputed title. That he should be the champ and he should be fighting. Right? Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah. Well, you're stealing my take.
What take?
You're actually stealing my take.
I've been saying this for weeks.
Take. That is my take that I've said from the very moment. I said that I believe that this fight before Sergey lost was for the undisputed title, because if Jones and Stipe are only going to fight each other, then you cannot have Tom Aspinall then defend the interim championship. I feel like this because Jones and Stipe don't need the title to be on the line.
Yes.
They can just fight, and that's enough. Call it for the greatest of all time. It doesn't matter. Create a belt.
Yes.
It's like Tom Aspinall is the guy that's going to lead the heavyweight division for years to come. So, yes, I believe that he should be the undisputed champion. Hey, look, Jones is the undisputed champion. He earned that in the octagon by beating Cyril Gane. But if he's only going to fight Stipe, and that's not for another, 8 months, 7 months?
Yes.
I think you put Tom Aspinall as the champ, and I don't think anybody would bat an eyelid.
Is anyone undisputed champion if they're not beating Francis Ngannou?
That was my fault, right? So yes. So that was my fault, right? I would have loved to see him and Francis fight.
Yes.
And Francis was the undisputed champion. But then Francis left. Like, it's like you can only fight the people in front of you, because if I say that Jones is not undisputed because he didn't beat Francis, how in the world could I ever call myself the champion of the world when I never beat Jones? And then if I'm not the champion of the world back then, I'm never the double champion because I never held the light heavyweight championship. And if I didn't hold the light heavyweight championship, I never would have got an opportunity to fight for the heavyweight championship. So it's just you fight who's available. And it's last year, I think Alabama or Georgia won the NCAA football championship. They played TCU. Well, TCU's not the best team. They beat Ohio State. They were there. You beat who's in front of you. So, yeah, Jones is the undisputed champ, even though he didn't fight in Ghana. But Francis left, and he did not make a mistake because he made all the money boxing.
Yeah. By the way, have you seen since the USADA news came out, Jones saying like, "Hey, I want my win back. That should have never been no contest." Do you see that?
Crazy.
Does that annoy you when you see that, or are you so far removed from all of that?
I was just I'm removed from it, but I just said we cannot recreate history now. We can't go back and say I beat USADA. Like it's not like everything that happened. It's just like it's not like it's not like it didn't happen. They're not saying USADA was wrong. Anything that happened over the course of the time USADA was here is null and void. Still, it's all still relevant to the time being. It's just they're not going to be the doping organization used anymore. That doesn't mean that everything that happened over the course of the time USADA was in effect is null and void. Because then what? Michael Bisping was never the champ? Because Michael Bisping, if not for USADA, probably never would have won that belt. Because the moment Michael Bisping got to play on even terms, he beat everyone.
Oh, wow.
He beat everyone.
I thought you were implying that Weidman pulled out because of USADA. Okay. I see what you're saying.
What do you mean?
Well, because you said if there's no USADA, is Michael Bisping the champ? You really
No.
You really
I think Michael Bisping.
You think
I do, dude. Like,
really?
Dude, guys were openly saying they were doing what was it at the time?
TRT. Yeah.
Was it TRT?
Yeah,
they were openly saying it. Like Vitor was openly saying it. And then when USADA came, they got rid of all that. They got rid of it.
No, I know.
And so then Mike go.
But people, people are very smart, right? They could beat the system.
Kung Lee. Hey, you remember Kung Lee?
Yeah, legend.
Kung Lee was the man. TRT. Yeah. He was openly saying he was using TRT. That USADA came, Mike beats him, Mike earns a title fight, Mike becomes a champ. I'm telling you, bro, it really did level the playing field. But my point being, Ariel,
yes,
is that
it's so good to hear you say my name.
My point being, it's not that USADA wasn't wrong. USADA just is not the testing organization used anymore.
Amen. By the way,
so yeah, it's kind of crazy, like to hear that, like I beat USADA. No, you didn't beat USADA, bro.
No.
None of us beat USADA. We all woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning when they were knocking on our doors. We all gave those tests for 7 years, 8 years, and now it's done.
How would you book UFC 300?
I'm doing Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler.
Has to be, right?
I think you have to.
Yeah,
you have to. You have to. I'm doing Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler. I am doing if the winner of the pay-per-view next week or in 2 weeks, I think that champion will be on UFC 300, especially if it's Colby Covington. You find a fight for Colby Covington. If Colby Covington wins, you find a fight for him.
Okay.
And then another title fight. I think you get 3 title fights. But then all those guys are booked in the first part of the year, right?
So I know. This is where it gets tricky, right?
It gets a little tricky, but I think you get 3 title fights. I don't think you get any returns. I don't think you get any of the big returns. You don't get like Brock coming back.
No.
Like Islam, those types of things.
Islam and Charles?
I think Islam has to fight in Saudi Arabia. I think that just, to me, that makes sense. It just makes sense. Like,
even on a non-pay-per-view?
Bro, I think think about this. Like when the WWE goes to Saudi Arabia, it's always huge.
They want the big guns.
Right? They want big. I mean, in Saudi Arabia, sometimes they be asked to produce to go back and wrestle them. Them dudes might be dead. Like this dude might, like this. I want this dude. Like this dude been dead for like 10 years, man.
I thought maybe Abu Dhabi would not want him to fight there because there's.
Why would there be a difference? I mean, but dude, it's like he has to fight in it's in the Middle East, right? I get it, but then it's not like he can't fight in Abu Dhabi.
Sure, yeah.
Still fight in Abu Dhabi.
So you'd put him on the fight night, huh?
I would if I was doing it. I don't know if they're
paying a shit ton of money anyway. Who cares?
They're paying you a ton of money. regardless.
Yeah, I don't know who else goes
and
on.
Hamzat. And Hamzat.
If he's healthy.
In Saudi Arabia. If he's healthy, I'm putting Hamzat out there too. I'm rolling dudes out there to fight, man. I'm going to blow up Saudi Arabia. I'm going to Saudi Arabia.
You're going to be there?
I'm going, man. Yeah, I'm going. What you mean am I going?
Did you see that scene in October?
Can I tell you why I'm going?
Tell me.
Can I tell you why I'm going?
Why? His Excellency?
They put but they're opening a WWE thing over there. A new thing. Did you see that? WWE when they were in there? No. They're opening a new WWE experience. I'm going to the new WWE experience. Be the first one in the world. The first one in the world.
That's why you're going?
You know?
They're going to bring back all the legends and stuff. Like, did you see what they did for the Francis fight? Did you watch that? God. Bringing out all the legends. It's incredible.
Bro, I watched the Francis fight and did a reaction video for my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go check it out.
Check it out.
Yeah. Dude, I couldn't believe all the champs. And then I did a reaction video and it was like 800,000 views, bro. It was just massive.
Exploded.
It was crazy how big it did during that weekend. But, dude, I was seeing some of the champs. Some of them dudes look bad, though. Some of the champs kind of beat up, man. You can tell the long career has taken a toll on them. Dudes on canes and stuff. But seeing Lennox Lewis out there, Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, and then it's crazy watching that because you watch all those big-time stars, or at least people that we see as stars, and they're with Conor, and Conor might be the biggest star out of all of them.
Oh, my God.
It's crazy.
I was going to ask, did they ask you to go?
No.
Why not?
I'm not big enough.
I'm
not on that level. No, I'm not on that level.
Light heavyweight champ. Would you have gone if they paid you a million?
Listen, if we're using the Tom Aspinall thing, I'm not the heavyweight champ or the light heavyweight champ.
Stop that.
No.
Stop that. Would you have gone if they paid you big bucks?
I was home that weekend. I like to work. So
it's nice to be home.
Yes, but I probably would have stayed home.
Man, did you see when I was on with Chael? He was so mean to me on the show. Did you see that? Very mean.
That was kind of your fault, like, a little bit.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what y'all. I gotta be honest with you. No, I gotta be honest with you. I don't know what y'all were doing, man. It was embarrassing and it was uncomfortable to watch. I turned it off. I couldn't watch it no more. I was like, this is bad. Like, this is so bad.
It was very.
Like, you just going to antagonize Chael, and Chael's antagonizing you. I said, how does a friendship actually survive this?
No, we're good. We're good.
But if I'm being completely honest, I was happy it happened.
Why?
Because he was on TV and you guys were together every week like that. Like, I was like, they're all such great friends, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't get in a fight.
Look at us. We never fight. We've never fought once.
I don't know if that's true.
Like that, where there's like veins popping.
Not like that. That was
sweating
bad.
And shit.
That was really bad.
You have to get off because his voice. He lost his voice.
Bro, it got uncomfortable. Like, you watch TV, it is like, this is really bad. I cannot watch this. It's like, it was really bad.
Can you do me a favor this weekend when you're calling the fights? You're going to be there in Austin. Great card, by the way. I really like this card.
Oh, dude.
Misha Tate on the prelims. Misha Tate on the prelims.
Well, honestly, like, think about this. Like, it's been many years in a row where the Stuart Scott Fight Like Hell Fight Night is usually a big fight card. And that's exactly what's happening this weekend, right? It's Jimmy V week this week at ESPN. So it's a big weekend, a big fight card. I mean, Beneil Dariush and Arman Saruki and Bobby Green and Jalen Turner. It's gonna be sick. I can't wait.
When you're calling the fights this weekend, just for me, for old time's sake, just throw it in there, just subtly. No one will know because no one's watching. Can you refer to the fighter in there? Can you say Kelvin Gastelum?
Do you remember when he was doing that? What in the world are you doing, Gastelum? Do you remember when he was doing that?
Yes.
I mean, talk about. Listen, that was almost as embarrassing as you and Chael fighting in front of everybody.
Nah. Just say, hey, I got to tell you, Kelvin.
I'm like, hey, they send you the audio recording. Hey, could you, Heidi goes, can you say your name and pronounce the syllable? Hamzat Chimaev, Shavkat Rahmanov. Right? Like, just say the name. Kelvin Gastelum. Like, what? Like, that is not his name. And so they're telling me he wanted. He said to call him. I said, I'm not calling him that. I said, his name is Kelvin Gastelum. We get to change your name 7 years down the line, bro. Kelvin Gastelum.
What about Francis?
I'm gonna see him this weekend. He's this weekend. Ngannou.
No.
Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou. Yeah, Francis Ngannou.
Yes.
I was like, wow.
Kamaru Usman also.
Crazy. They said, say your name, Daniel Cormier. Listen, slow down a little bit. I said no, because if I say it too fast, they're gonna start saying all kind of crazy shit. Mess around. Hey, I almost cussed. Hey, mess around on TV getting called Cain, but like what? Remember that? Yes. Cain. You fuck around, say your name, messed up, get called Cain.
By the way, you could cuss here, no problem.
Really?
Oh yeah, we say shit, all that stuff. Yeah, we're crazy here.
Amazing.
This is independent Helwani.
Yeah.
By the way,
lost your mind.
Yesterday there was a thing that came out. MVP Michael Venom Page versus Kevin Holland. Do you see this?
Ooh, that's a good one. I didn't see that.
You didn't see that? Because Dana did an interview in that room of his. Have you ever been in that room, the war room, where they have all the stuff on the wall?
I have. I did it. I interviewed him there once.
Oh, it must be nice. Must be real nice.
Somebody actually put that up there again? Like put up the wall?
Yes. If the full send guys. It was in the background. But
that happened with the pivot too.
Yes, yes. And everyone's trying to break it down, see if it's true. But who knows if it's real because it was filmed like a week or so ago.
No,
but
that was a
you
fight.
like that MVP Kevin Holland?
That would be a great fight. Oh, that would be so fun. That would be so fun if that's a real fight. That's the type of fight you want MVP fighting if he's just coming to the UFC too. You want him in there with somebody that's gonna like go out there and kind of fight him in a way that's gonna make for a fun fight. Kevin Holland. He was Michael Chiesa his last fight when he submitted him.
Yeah.
Or he won again after that, right?
Mm.
Didn't he just win a fight recently? Kevin Holland.
You work for the company.
I mean, I do, but like, am I supposed to remember all this? Like, I can't remember everyone. But I know he submitted Michael Chiesa.
Jack
but
Della.
He also fought Steve.
Lost to Jack Della.
He fought Jack Della. He lost to Jack Della, right? In a very close fight.
Oh yeah, that weird one. It was on the Mexican guard. It was the only fight with no Mexicans.
Oh, that was a great dude. That was a. Hey, let me tell you something. One of my favorite nights of fighting in on the UFC calendar.
Really?
Noche UFC.
What are you talking about? It's only been once. It's only been once.
Bro, dude, let me tell you something. It is one of my favorite nights in UFC now. Noche UFC. For the whole night. The whole night. Mariachi music. Yeah. The whole night.
Now they're doing it at the Sphere. Next one.
Oh, God. Dude, listen. Let me get back to my story.
Sorry.
Don't interrupt me. Bro, the whole night, mariachi music. They had these cool jerseys. They were green with the Mexican colors. And it said UFC, Noche UFC. Bro, I'm trying to get a jersey. Because one, I need two. I want to give one to Kane, and I want one for myself.
Yeah.
Right? I live in Gilroy. I think it's going to be amazing.
Was that just a snot rocket that you just did? Was that a snot rocket?
I've done it 3 times. Okay. I mean, it's the first time you noticed.
You went like that. I noticed the flick of the wrist.
I went. I usually try to do it off camera. I'm a caveman, bro. But I keep trying to get it, and I cannot get it. When they would refill the jerseys, 10 minutes, bang, before anybody can get up to get one, they're sold out.
Jeez.
Bro, the crowd was crazy, dude. It was amazing. And at the Sphere, you see inside the Sphere, like, imagine if, like, coming outside, it's like a guy's, like, coming out and, like, you see, like, parts of Mexico. Or the guy he's fighting, and you see like parts of his country, right? Like, could you imagine, like, if not just the flag? Imagine if you got a Mexican guy fight, and you see like, Mexico City.
Yeah, no.
And then a Dagestani guy, and you see the mountains of Dagestan. Oh my! Could you imagine?
Have you been in it?
That would be so cool, man. No, I haven't. I haven't been to the Sphere yet. I haven't been to Vegas for a while, actually.
Really?
I went to Vegas to drive F1. That was the last time I was there.
You drove? What are you talking about? You drove one of the cars?
Well, it was a simulator.
Oh, that's sick.
I drove F1. It was cool. Yeah, it was cool.
Well,
I played Cam Jordan. I played against an actual F1 driver that drove in the race the Saturday after we raced on the simulator.
Look at you, just doing all kinds of promotional stuff. Life is good, huh?
I was in last place.
What kind of car is it? Because that's a tight fit, that car, no?
But it's like a real car. It's
right.
like a real car. It's like the skeleton of the car. But we all fit in there.
You fit in okay?
We all got in there. Well, Cam Jordan got in there. He's huge.
I don't even know what that
if
is.
He can fit. I can fit. Dude, he's only the best defensive end in the entire NFL.
Who does he play for?
Plays for the New Orleans Saints.
Come
the
on.
Fighting Saints of New Orleans.
Come
the
on.
Fighting
No one cares
Saints
about
of
them.
New Orleans.
Bunch of losers.
Dude, you're so crazy. We're in first place.
Are you really?
Yeah, we're in first place in the NFC South. Are you crazy?
Who's your starting quarterback? Jameis?
No, dude. Derek Carr.
Oh, Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. Derek Carr's our
formerly
quarterback.
of the Raiders.
We're in first place. Yeah, we're in first place.
David's brother?
Yeah, dude. His name is Derek Carr, bro. Stop doing that.
Okay, wait.
See, this is why Chill wanted to kick your ass.
Come on.
You're an agitator. You're a bit of an agitator.
This is. By the way, this feels better than you being in studio because we were on Zoom. The birds were chirping. I thought you were going to be in that room with the birds chirping. You know what I mean? In the dark days. You know. Can I tell you something? I used to say to my wife in the early days of the pandemic, one day when the book is written about the pandemic and ESPN and the pandemic, they are going to say Ariel Helwani carried this company on his back. That's what I used to say to her. That's what I said. In the end, that didn't happen. Clearly. No. This is like I said this because she was like, why are you working so much? Why are you doing this? I said, I love this company. I'm going to carry it on my back. Okay? In the end, though, it was actually ended up being something greater than that because I get people till today who say DC and Helwani was the bright spot in the past. We did greater than carry the company. Some might say we carried humanity. It was one of the great things. It's one of the greatest accomplishments of my career. No,
spoken like a true narcissist. We carried humanity.
Remember when we did the radio show the week before, and I was wearing the gloves. I was wearing the green gloves. Not even the mask. I didn't even have the mask.
Well, dude, you probably should have worn gloves with me because there was a guy on the plane that was Coffin Man when I was on the way to the pay-per-view. And that dude was like, yeah, I just got back from China. I was like, wait, man. Like, man. I was like, you gotta just be messing with us. And he was just coughing. I was like, dude, come on, man. I was like, you can't be doing this, man. Don't do this. The pandemic was just something. I always think about the pandemic. I'm like, wow, man, what a time. And it was always fun because we were just kind of living and we were all just at home. And then I would get on every Monday or Tuesday. What was it, Monday?
It doesn't even remember the day. Golly. Monday.
And we would do the show, and it was like an hour, and it was always just like fun to just let go because, man, it was a weird time. It was a very, very odd time.
Stressful. And then you let the hair grow, and we got to really see, what was going on up there.
That ball patch.
You know what I mean?
Do you remember? And then I got ready for that fight in the middle of the pandemic. That was bad. Do
you regret that?
Dude, it's literally one of my biggest regrets in the world. I feel like, and John Anik would tell me this all the time, and he goes, me as a broadcaster, he goes, calling your last fight in the Apex when it was like still really early in the pandemic and empty, he goes, it just felt kind of wrong. To have a career like that and for it to end was in that way was, it's like it's a regret. And as much as I wanted to win the belt back, I kind of wish that it was done in front of people, but I wouldn't have been able to wait till 21.
Why not?
In order to, I was too old, man. I was too old, and that's one of my worries with Miocic, right? In the Jones fight, is that he's already 41. Is he 41? Is he 40 and 41?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's a whole nother 8 months. It's like you feel it when you start to get into your 40s in terms of training. Things start to slip. You're not as good as you were. You can't go to that next level. That was one of the things that I always could do. The only guy in the room, the training room, that could go to that next level with me was Kane. The only guy that can go to that next level with me in the octagon was Jones. I could always go to another level. And then when I got older, I could feel myself like I couldn't just take it to that next level anymore. My body wouldn't allow me. My mind would tell me to do it, but I just didn't have that gear anymore, that extra gear.
So if it was up to you, would you have not taken that fight? Like, do you wish you just didn't take it and ended before that?
Dude, I mean, if you're really talking about ending, it probably should have been after New York City when I beat Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
That would have been the storybook, right? Because imagine how people would look at me if I retired with both of those championships.
Oh my God.
But that doesn't even matter to me. Like that doesn't really matter to me. But I'm talking, if you're asking me about what would have been fairy tale, I would have got what GSP got. And nobody gets what GSP gets.
Except for GSP and Olivia Aubin-Mercier.
And Amanda Nunes, but bro, Olivia Aubin-Mercier made a lot of money, bro. I like the guy. He's a really nice guy, but come on. You tripping. You tripping, bro.
He won back-to-back belts. What are you talking about?
Man, you tripping, man. Come on, man.
What do you think? What do you think about them acquire? Come on. What do you think about that?
You understand talking. Every time I come on this shit, man, he's not doing this, man. Like,
well, you don't think that they're a co-leader? They said they're going to be a co-leader.
I think they're good, man. I think these guys can fight. I think these guys can really fight. I think anybody fighting at the highest level can fight, man. But come on, man. You can't start talking about George St. Pierre and Olivia Aubin-Mercier, man. Oh my God! I can't believe
what do you think about them?
You got a way of making me you be making me disrespect people, man. I have no intention to disrespect people. That's bad, man. You say some stupid shit, and then I got to put you in your place and make it seem like I'm messing with Olivia Aubin-Mercier.
I saw you talk to Kayla.
I'm so happy for him. I like Kayla. Kayla, like, she's the real deal. Huh? And she's Olympic champ. She's Olympic champ. It's impossible to win the Olympics.
Twice.
It's like, I know, because I tried twice, and it's hard to win. It's impossible, actually. Her and Dan Boyle won the Olympic Games.
Can she beat Chris Cyborg?
I think so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. How old is Chris Cyborg now? At some point, she's got an age.
She's up there. How
old is Chris Cyborg?
Exactly. Let me see right here.
At some point, right? Like, at some point, that she's got to slow down. I don't know, but
38. I mean, it feels like she's been around forever. She's only 38.
Yeah, she has. But it feels it's hard to judge that, right? Because you get these fighters and they get in front of Cyborg, and if you have Amanda Nunes, who isn't afraid, she goes out there and she fights in the way that she did. But some of the other women that have been around as long as Chris has, they go out there and they're a bit starstruck and they're a bit nervous and they don't fight to their potential. Like, Kat Zingano did not fight to her potential in that fight against her. And many of the women that fought her in the UFC when she was there, they just kind of get steamrolled because they allow for Chris's, her legend precedes her. And so they don't fight her as effectively. That's not something that Kayla Harrison would do. So I think because of that, I think it would allow for Kayla to fight more competitive and have a real chance of winning. So yeah, I believe she can compete with her. She won the Olympics, bro.
Right, twice.
Like, come on, man. Yeah, twice.
I would love to see, but they said they're not even going to do it. Crazy, right?
Why would they not do it?
You have a fight of that stature. You don't play with fire and book some.
Who's that?
Don Davis, the owner. You know that guy?
That guy right there.
That guy is the man.
That guy's something else, man.
He's the man.
That guy's something else, man.
What?
That guy just be talking.
What?
He just be talking and talking and talking. I'm like, this dude Don Davis be talking. He just be talking and talking. He be talking, huh?
You don't
he
like
just
him?
Be talking and
you
talking
don't like
and talking. I mean, I don't really have any opinion of him. I'm just saying he be talking like, if he had any secrets, don't tell Don Davis if you got secrets, because he's going to tell it. He just get talking and talking and
What's
talking.
your beef with him?
I don't have a beef with him. I'm just saying he be talking.
He said they're going to be the co-leader.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how you. I mean, I don't know how you can be the co-leader, bro. You're not going to be the co-leader. I'm sorry.
There's 20
the
years.
UFC is the standard, bro. The UFC is the standard. They got too big. It's too big a head start. The fighters at the level of fighters are just too high. It's a well-oiled machine. I have gained. And people will say something like, this guy's a company, man. Yes, they write me checks a lot.
Yes. You should be.
But here's the deal. The UFC has developed a product that is so far ahead of everything else. It's crazy, man. From the production side to the personnel and staff side to the fighters, there's
not even
nothing
close.
that compares.
It's not even close.
It's not close, bro. And it's not going to be close.
we've
It's
reached
not
a
going to be
point where
close.
it's NFL and CFL and XFL, and
Yes.
I don't mean
It
talent
really is
wise.
that.
There's great fighters. Like MVP is going to come
There's great
over,
fighters everywhere.
but it doesn't feel the same when you watch it. It's such a well-oiled machine. It's so big.
Yeah.
It's anyone who says otherwise is a liar. Anyone who says otherwise,
But it's just not the truth. It's just when I was in Strikeforce in the beginning, I remember we would be on CBS or all these, and I would just rush to find the ratings to see how it did. Right? I had to know how it did because you wanted to feel like it was kind of catching up or like you were on that level because you knew back then UFC numbers were crazy. These pay-per-view numbers they were doing back then were crazy. And you were like, man, if Strikeforce can do 5 million views on cable, that's a big number. And it was not ever really that, right? It was not ever really that. But you always look for some sort of metric that puts you on the same level as the UFC. And they're just really, there's not any, from crowd attendance to gates to pay-per-views to, there's just not a metric that's going to show that you're on that level.
I said at the beginning of the show, it's actually never been more. The gap has never been bigger. Like when UFC bought Strikeforce, they were acquiring you and Luke and Alistair and Ronda and Nick and so on, Gilbert Melendez, all these guys.
PFL, all these big time fighters.
Yes, headliners. PFL is better now because they got Bellator, but it's not the same. They don't have the talent roster. I would say probably the two best guys are Johnny Eblin and Patchy Mix. I think Johnny Eblin could be a UFC champion next year.
But I don't even think they have those weight classes.
Well, that's the thing. They're just going to roll them in. But yes, that's part of the reason why they bought it, because their roster is a little too thin. But do you agree, Johnny Eblin? I think of their champions, I think he might Usman and Patchy might be the three best.
I think Bellator is they had their best group of champions.
Yes.
With Patchy, Usman, who is a monster. Usman's a monster, bro. Johnny Eblin. And I was very surprised that the 170-pounder lost because that dude is good.
Yeah, Amasov. Yeah.
He's really good. And then the 205-pounder is real good.
Vadim.
He's just small. Nemkov.
Yeah.
He's really good. But he's probably like an 85-pounder in reality, right? But like they have their best group of champions, but it didn't feel like the guys fighting behind them were as good. But in terms of champions, I think Bellator had their best group of champions they've had in a really long time.
You know what's my biggest regret?
Really long time.
My biggest regret? We never got to see you versus Ryan Bader. I want the easiest fight in the division. Yeah. Give me Ryan Bader.
Yeah,
Ryan Bader's UFC. He's Bellator champ right now. He comes over to UFC. He's UFC heavyweight champ. Easy.
You what?
What? What are you talking? He hasn't lost at heavyweight. He's killing everyone.
Hey, bro, you're trolling, bro. You're trolling.
Nah.
You're trolling.
What are you talking?
Yeah, you're trolling.
You don't think it's been incredible what he's done?
So you think Ryan Bader could beat Tom Aspinall?
Oh my God! Don't make me talk bad about Aspinall.
You just said.
I mean, he's great.
What?
No. He's.
You actually think Ryan Bader could beat Tom Aspinall?
No, but he's the interim champ. So I was talking about the other belt.
So then Ryan Bader could beat John Jones. I think John Jones choked him out. I think.
That was 2011. That was 2011. I mean, that was a long ass time ago.
So he's gotten older. You're
not impressed with what Ryan Bader is doing with these heavyweights?
I think Ryan Bader's doing really good, but it's like, man, let's live in reality, Harry. We got to live in reality, man. Like, this dude is good, man. But, like, when he came to the UFC, he'd be good. He would still be one of the better heavyweights in the world, but he's not the best heavyweight in the world. The best heavyweight in the world is between John Jones, Tom Aspinall, Stipe Miocic, or Francis Ngannou. Those are the four best heavyweights in the world, hands down. Those are.
You can't really put Stipe in
the rest of the guys. The rest of the guys are working towards that. Jailton Almeida is on the. Jailton Almeida would be the Bellator champion right now. He'd be the PFL champion too, Jailton. But I don't know if Jailton right now beats John Jones or Tom Aspinall, right? So it's like those guys are on their way up to that level. But yeah, you can't say that, dude. You got to be trolling, man.
What do you think about Sean Strickland? Do you like this guy?
I think Sean Strickland is I think he's hilarious. And I think Sean Strickland is as honest as any human being you'll ever meet in your entire life. you love him or you hate him, but everybody has an opinion of Sean Strickland. And what he did to Izzy was so impressive. I could not believe what I was watching. Couldn't believe it.
Do you see that video of him outside his house on Monday?
Yeah.
That's some crazy shit. That's crazy. How does that happen to Sean Strickland? I feel like that was his like Super Bowl right there. That's like the greatest thing to happen to him.
It's like Sean Strickland, one of them dudes that like sit outside his house. Like, I wish somebody would try to rob him.
Yeah.
Like he's like hoping someone tries to rob him so that he can do that to him. That's why you can't rob people, man. You rob people, you never know who port you end up on. It was like that guy that tried to break into Anthony Smith's house. And Anthony Smith just beat him up. You remember that?
That was during during our show. Yeah. In the early days of the pandemic.
Crazy. Like you end up breaking into the wrong guy's house, and next thing you know, you're just getting your butt kicked.
Okay, let me ask you a couple more, and then I'll let you go because I feel you're looking all over the place. I'm getting nervous. Aljo 145. You like this?
I think he should stay at 135.
Really? Why?
I think that's the right weight class for him. Yeah, I just think it's the right weight class for him. Look, man, people switch weights when you're looking for a change because you're not finding success, or you can't make the weight anymore. No matter how tough it is, he was still making the weight. He still makes the weight, so I think he should stay at 135.
What do you watch?
Those guys are big. He's a bit of a tweener, kind of. What am I watching?
No. Well, he wants Max Holloway. Too big, right?
I think Max is too big. Yeah.
But there's really nothing left for him at 35, so might as well kind of go for something different. I don't hate it.
I think that he has a good chance of winning enough fights to work his way back to a title fight. I really do.
Interesting.
I think he has a better chance, 135, winning enough fights to where he's undeniable again. Because that's what happens, right? Like a lot of times guys that win, and they don't get the title fight right away, at some point it becomes undeniable that they should be fighting for the belt. And so they get their opportunity and they become champion. Leon Edwards fought 11 times before he got a title fight. Now he's the champ. So it's like sometimes it's faster than other times. Max Holloway won 12 before he became the champ. So it's like at a point you become undeniable, and I think Aljo can do that at 135.
What do you think your boy DP should do? He's kind of stuck.
I think Dustin Poirier should kind of wait. Dustin Poirier should hope Arman Sarukian doesn't do well this weekend, first and foremost. Because if Beneil Dariush wins, now you go, hey, I want to fight Beneil. And if I beat Beneil, it gets you a fight at possibly UFC 300 like he wants. And then it puts him in line to where when Islam is ready for that third fight next year, he could be that third fight waiting for him in October.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Because it feels like there's no real guy that makes total sense for him. Were you trolling when Alex Pereira kicked you in the leg? That didn't really hurt, right?
It hurts, bro.
Come on. You're Daniel Cormier. You're Daniel Cormier.
Listen to me. It didn't hurt to the point that I was going to fall down on the first one. But he wasn't kicking me hard. But I could feel like he was putting it in a place on my leg where I could feel like, well, if this guy kicked me here multiple times, I would be very, very limited in my movement. Bro, so it really felt like it was giving me like this weird delayed reaction on my calf. It was a very odd kick that he does. And he stopped rolling the camera and showed me some things that he's doing. That's not just him kicking.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Let me ask you, what are you watching these days?
On TV, you mean?
Yeah. Beverly Hillbillies, series, shows, what do you got?
No, I'm off of that. I'm off of Beverly Hillbillies. All right, so there's a couple things. One, I don't really like to do this much anymore because they don't pay me.
Oh.
But I like Welcome to Wrexham. Have you watched that?
Oh, it's great. You watched that? Wow, I'm shocked.
Dude, I'm all in the soccer now. I started playing FC 24.
What?
And now I'm like a huge soccer fan. Bro, I'm a huge soccer fan now.
Wow, we have so much in common. Soccer. I love soccer. You watch games too?
No.
Okay.
I don't watch the game. The highlights. Okay. I watch the highlights.
All right. What's your team? What's your team?
Bayern. I like Bayern.
Wow, Harry Kane?
Yeah, I like the slick-haired Englishman, Harry Kane.
Oh my God, this is incredible. This is a huge development.
I watch soccer.
Okay.
I watch Welcome to Wrexham. It's over now. They just got done with the second season.
Yeah.
I watch. There's a show called. It's called Legacy of the Monarchs, I think, just started on Apple TV. So I'm watching that. It's pretty good. It's about all the monarchs, like Godzilla, King Kong, and all those. It's a cool show. I watch Beckham. Messi Meets America.
Oh, yeah. Wow,
which
look
is
at
cool.
you. You're really into soccer.
That's a cool one.
Yeah?
I like soccer. I watch a lot of golf. Dude, I was up on golf, seriously, on the Ryder Cup.
Oh, yeah.
I would go to bed in the middle of the afternoon to wake up at night and stay up all night to watch it live.
That is insane. It's so
I
boring.
like golf. No, it's not actually. It's really good.
You watch Full Swing?
And then listen to this. I do watch Full Swing. But then listen to this. I'm actually, after the Ryder Cup, the week after, I go down to Florida. I go to the Grove 23, Michael Jordan's private golf course.
Wow.
I walk in and I see Rory McIlroy.
Wow.
Right? So Rory McIlroy almost got into a fight with this caddy at the Ryder Cup. And so I saw him, but like they got like these rules. Don't take pictures of the guests, of the members and stuff. So I walked past him, kind of like I'm not gonna say anything. But then he double takes and he goes, DC, what are you doing here?
Wow. Wow.
Yes. So then we start talking, and he's there with the whole Ryder Cup team.
Wow.
And we start making jokes about the fights on the course and how Rory should take some classes with me and all this other stuff. Yeah, it was cool.
Rory McIlroy knows who you are.
Bro, I've learned that since we do this and more television, I'm more recognizable to the general person than I was before.
Well, also ESPN.
You know, hats off to ESPN.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You know,
Son of a gun.
He's a company man.
That's
He's
right.
a company man.
Is your hand still like Chubb? Is it still like, do you still like move it like that?
Remember when it used to just always stay straight?
Yes.
What was that? What was that?
Is it still like that?
I was like, I've never thought about it because I don't have a friend that makes fun of me constantly about it.
Can you make a fist?
I've never. Yeah, I can make a fist. What are you talking about? I can't make a fist. Dude, you're such a bully.
What? This is so great. Just 1 second. I'm trying to hug you here.
Where are you?
I'm hugging you. I'm hugging the screen.
Oh,
you can't see.
There you go. My hands are open.
My God, man, this has been so great.
My hands are open. Look at my hands. Look at my hands.
Oh my God.
How long have I been on this?
Like 50 minutes.
50 minutes?
It flew by in a second.
Bro, I've done 50
Come on,
minutes.
We got to get the band back together.
How many holes?
I see your show's great with RC. Shout out to RC.
It is good. It is good. RC's the man.
Ben Askren. Shout out to
RC's
Funky.
The man now. Yes.
Your family.
The volume sports.
But it's never the same. It'll never be the same,
no,
right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, but you got.
Come on.
Let me tell you something, bro. It's been great, bro. It's been great. Nice. I do miss you, though.
I miss you.
You don't even text me no more. Let me tell you something. It really is very telling. It's really very telling when a guy loses communication with you. And then you go, well, this guy might not be as good a friend to me as he
stop that. It hurts too much. It's like a bad breakup. I can't. You just want to keep me in the friend zone, and I love you too much. I love you too. Here,
you want to say hi? Say hi.
Hello.
All right, look at this. Say
hey, what's happening?
We're getting done. Yeah, she brought me water.
Okay,
she goes, this dude's been talking for an hour. He might need some water.
Wow.
Thank you.
What a sweetheart. Anyway, thank you for doing this.
You're a man,
Much
bro.
love.
I appreciate it.
Keep it up.
It was fun.
You know, I always love you. And don't be a stranger. And good luck. What? What is too much?
Too much. You're doing too much. You're doing too much.
Good luck in Austin. You're going to Austin?
Cannot wait, bro. It's going to be great. Great fight night. Great cause. All night there'll be a QR code on the screen.
Oh, nice.
Hit that QR code. Yeah, donate, man. Cancer research is awesome.
All right. And check out the YouTube channel. I'll see you soon, my friend.
Yeah.
And by the way, still got it. Still got it there. Still got it.
Bro, I watched your show 2 weeks ago and I didn't see it.
Yeah. Let me know. Hey, let me know when my picture goes up on your set, all right? I'm waiting 2 plus years. Let me know, all right?
Shut up, man. All right, Ariel.
There it is. DC. Can I tell you guys something? Like, truly? Well, and you knew it was coming, right? When I turned to the screen and the shot was him in the golf cart, it was like my heart went down to my ankles. You knew it was coming, right?
Actually, when we were talking about the magazines finishing up, you
saw it?
It's plastered everywhere. DC just driving around in a golf cart. I was like, oh God, this is not what I was expecting.
No, because I said to him, like, do you have a heart out? Are you busy? Is your schedule clear? X, Y, and Z, right? No, man, it's all about you and I. It's all about you
Love
and
of
me.
the game, man.
Love of the game, huh? And then so there's something, it gives me anxiety because I feel like the person's on the move. It's like, like when you're meeting with someone and they keep their coat on. You feel like they're ready to go. Like it's not comfortable. It feels like they're in transit. On the golf, have we ever had someone on a golf course before? I feel like we might have had someone on a golf course before.
Didn't Michael Chandler join from the club?
Yes.
Similar setup.
But look, Chandler was there sitting. He was ready to go. I interviewed John Barry from a golf clubhouse, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. You never golfed before, eh?
I've done it like maybe twice. I've done a bunch of mini golf, but not much of a actual. I find it. Why, are you a good golfer?
I'm decent. Love golfing. I mean, it's very hard.
It seems like a fun time. It's very communal. It's
see that course too?
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Gorgeous.
I didn't know about this Grove 23 thing. Did you know about that?
It's like the elite of the elite.
You have to pay to play there, or do you just have to be someone famous?
I was gonna say, I think you have to get an invitation to play there.
Okay. Well, that was fun. I definitely miss doing the show with him. Miss having him in my life. Him and Chill. It was a great run there. And great to catch up with Daniel Cormier. Do check out his YouTube channel and check out DC and RC on the ESPN MMA YouTube channel as well. You know what's funny is that, and I think I may have told this story before, the week before the pandemic, we did that ESPN radio show, and the deal was supposed to be, every Thursday before every UFC pay-per-view, we would do a preview show on ESPN radio. So we did the one right before Izzy Romero, and then the world shuts down less than a week later, 6 days later. And then we're scratching our head wondering, all right, well, how are we going to keep doing the show? And I was like, well, we have DC here. Why don't we just do that every Monday? And thus it was born. Crazy, crazy times. We kept doing the radio shows. And my favorite part about it was I didn't have to book any guests. It was fantastic. And the people liked it as well. And there was a period there of like 2 months where there were no fights. There were literally no fights, but we were able to keep going because there was all these rumors about, are they going to go to some island? Are they going to go here? Are they going to go there? Is Vladimir Putin going to fly Khabib over to some place? Is he going to let him go here or there? I mean, it was just an absolute crazy time. A crazy time. I never want to go back to that time. While there is some nostalgia and good feelings, it was not that great. It was pretty damn miserable. Just because we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do anything. And if you're a germaphobe like me, it wasn't that much fun. But we have survived and we're all good, thank God. I do want to let you know that today's show is brought to you by our good friends over at Cash App. Want perks without a premium? Cash App cards offer you the best of both worlds. Discounts and offers for free because it's not a perk if you pay for it. But the word perk is thrown around a lot these days. So let's outline what is a perk on the Cash App card and what is not a perk. Discounts on your favorite retailers like Target, Nike, Old Navy, and Sephora. Cash App card perk. Piggyback rides from an NBA All-Star, not a Cash App card perk. Pre-sales to concerts like Drake, Kendrick, and Karol G, that's a Cash App card perk. Convincing your roommate to do the dishes, nope, not a Cash App card perk. Discounts on places like Vivid Seats and Booking.com, all Cash App card perks. Getting your ex to see your story, not a Cash App card perk. But no hidden fees, yep, that's a Cash App card perk with no hidden fees. That's what they offer to you. Hope that clears it up. Cash App offers premium rewards without the premium cost. That's money. That's Cash App. Download the Cash app from the App Store or Google Play Store and start collecting those perks today. Let's go back to the questions, shall we? We've got a few more to go here, and I think Frank has done a magnificent job. Chris, there was a lot of talk about PFL not having the star power this past weekend to justify a pay-per-view, especially with the $50 price tag. Is it possible that this is all due to Kayla Harrison's previous contract negotiations? If another promotion had offered her a lucrative contract with assurances that she would be featured on a pay-per-view card and PFL matches that offer, they would be obligated to put it on pay-per-view just for the sake of meeting their contractual obligations. If memory serves me correct, something similar happened when Bellator matched UFC's offer, et cetera, for Eddie Alvarez. Thanks for the entertainment, Chris. P.S. I still want to send in my Heel Wani shirt that I got on the UFC 290 broadcast into the studio to be signed. Just need that mailing address. Absolutely. You can send it here. Frank, do you know how to reach out to this person?
Yeah.
All right. And no.
I'll take care of it.
I appreciate that, Frank. Thank you.
Sure.
I just don't know how to reach. I mean, I don't know how to get in touch with Chris. You're the king.
I got this.
No, they are not doing a pay-per-view because of Kayla. They were doing pay-per-views before they re-signed Kayla. They just, for whatever reason, believe that the end, the season finale should be on pay-per-view. I very much disagree. It should not be on pay-per-view. Your best night should be available for all. You want to put it on ESPN Plus? Fine. That's somewhat of a paywall. It's a tighter paywall. Meaning it's just, I don't even know how much is. Well, what is ESPN Plus these days? $7, $8?
Feels like they're raising it every week. It used to be $5. Now
Used to be
it's
$4.99.
$7,
The initial was $4.99, right?
Yeah, initial was $4.99. That's how they hooked you. Now they've been raising it every month since.
That's fine. $50 is a big ask in this day and age, especially when UFC pay-per-views are monthly. And, if you're a fan who's going to buy PFL, you're buying UFC pay-per-views and you're spending, what are those, $74.99 last I checked? Something of that.
$79.99.
$79 now, so that's a lot. I would not put it on pay-per-view, but no, do not blame Kayla Harrison for that decision. Joe M., a quick two-hitter for Ariel. Are you on the Cooper out bandwagon? Absolutely not. We've been here before with the great Stevie Cooper. I know that some fans are blaming him for some of the recent performances, the late substitutions, but, we've dealt with some injuries, namely Teo Awoni. He's out until February 24th, last I read. And, Brennan left. I think that was a big blow. A lot of new faces coming in. Alanga has been a bright spot. He's been fantastic. Murillo has been great on defense. I don't blame Steve Cooper for the loss on Saturday to Brighton, although it was a tough one, and I really thought that they were going to make the comeback. We were here in October of last year, and everyone wanted Stevie out. If they would have fired Stevie Cooper last year and brought in Patrick Vieira, no chance Forrest stays up. Stay the course, keep the faith, give him more time to gel the team together. Everything will be okay. I wonder what happened to Matt Turner. Matt Turner hasn't played in a while, and he just got benched. I think it was after the Liverpool game? I don't know. I thought he was doing okay. Would love to see him back. Anyway, who will you support next season when Notts Forest are in the championship? Screw you, Joe. What is this? Frank, how can you put this? I'm telling you right now, this is my club. And can I address this thing once and for all? Once and for all. The first time I ever talked about Premier League teams on this show was Leicester City when they were going on that incredible run. That was clearly a gag. Go back. You could pull up the stupid tweets. They're out of context. That was clearly a gag. I was jumping on the bandwagon. I might have watched a collective 30 minutes of their matches just because towards the end it was fascinating. But I didn't really care about soccer. My kids at the time were 4, 5, 6. Then the next time I was a fan of a soccer team was Everton. And that was the whole thing with Meatball Molly and Darren Till and Patty. I can tell you right now, while I was an Everton fan, I did not watch a collective minute of any of their matches. And I think that lasted for like a year and a half or so. Again, it was part of a gag. I couldn't tell you a single person on the team. I didn't follow them, X, Y, and Z. Last year on this show, what did I say? I said, I want a proper team. I want to follow a team. I want to get invested in a team because my kids were getting into it and I was getting into it. And it just seemed like such a fun sport and league to follow, Premier League. And so we picked Nottingham Forest. You remember all of that. And I asked GC, I'm watching every single game. I'm living and dying with every single play. When my kids have soccer during the games, I'm listening to the games. I truly, truly care. So if you want to bring up the old tweets, if you want to say that I jump around, which I've never done in any other sport, I'm still a Knicks fan. What drives me nuts is like people say, oh my God, I can't keep up with how many teams you support. Yes, you do understand that in different sports, there's different teams, right? Like you do understand that the Knicks don't play football and don't play baseball and don't play hockey as well. Like you're allowed to have different teams that you support. You understand that. Have never wavered on the Bills, even though it is heartbreaking what they do to us each and every year. Still a Knicks fan through all the shit, through all the ups and downs. I would be a Montreal Expos fan, but they left. would never be a Nationals fan, so I had to adopt a new team. Will never be the same, but it's Canada, so we support the Jays, Canadians, hometown team. And the soccer thing I just explained, that was all a gag for the program. Rick was around during the Leicester City days. The Everton days was more ESPN, if memory serves. And I never watched any of the games, but now I love it. Now it's like yesterday I was watching Champions League on Paramount Plus, and I was all in. What a comeback. Man City. I mean, I could. He mentioned Cam Jordan there. No idea who that is. Is that crazy? Is that a shocking statement?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He's a pretty.
I've always said it. What have I always said? I watch the Bills. I don't watch the NFL. But I will watch Man City, Leipzig. I will watch Liverpool against Man City. Again, Man City, but because that was the big game over the weekend. What a game that was as well. I will watch Brighton against Bournemouth. I will watch Luton Town against Burnley. I just really enjoy it. I enjoy the atmosphere. I enjoy the skill. And I think it's probably because my kids are so into soccer. I mean, it's some weekends, 4 games, Saturday, Sunday. And so I'm watching it. I'm breathing. We're talking about it. A couple of years ago, I didn't even know what a fullback was. I thought a fullback was Frank Gore. You know what I mean? I didn't realize there was a fullback in soccer as well. Right back. You know what these things are, GC? Left back, central attacking mid. I didn't know about any of this stuff.
Yeah, but I'm still learning,
Nah, but my kids are telling me all this stuff. And don't tell them I said this, but I got the PS5 for Hanukkah.
Wait, what?
Got it. It has been secured. I've chosen not to get the physical EAFC 24. Going to get the download version because I feel like they're going to ruin it if we get the physical. Mistake? What do you think, Frank?
I mean, the disc can't be scratched anymore. So
you think I should get it?
I mean, I understand the idea of having a physical disc, but
there's a part of me that really wants to get it because, and then the clock is ticking now.
You already got the digital one?
No, I didn't get it. I don't think you can buy the digital. Don't you have to get it like once your thing is hooked up?
Yeah, you're right. You don't get codes for games anymore.
So here's my thing. There's a part of me that wants to give them the game. Like you touch it, you feel it, you pop it right in. But then there's a part of me that is worried about the scratching. And then there's a part of me that, doesn't it take a long time to download the game?
No.
Oh.
Especially
not if you're like plugged into Ethernet.
So how long does it take? Wi-Fi?
Maybe 30 minutes.
Oh, that's
Wi-Fi could take longer.
Like, what are we thinking?
I don't know, a couple hours.
30 minutes.
Oh, really? All right. My Wi-Fi is pretty good.
I've had some games that take a long time.
30 minutes.
30 minutes Wi-Fi?
I actually strongly disagree here with Frank. I vehemently disagree.
As someone who
what are you
owns
disagreeing
a
on?
PS5
what are you disagreeing
and downloads games on Wi-Fi, 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Make sure your NAT is set correctly.
Yeah, I think it'll take longer than 30 minutes.
Put it on the DMZ.
But how long are we talking here? I mean, maybe a couple hours at the longest.
What is DMZ?
The demilitarized zone on your router. You could talk offline.
I don't know what that is. So wait, are Frank? You're saying get the digital or don't get the digital?
I say get the disc. We, as I was explaining, you can't really scratch the disc anymore.
But
it's nice to have the physical totem. The other option is there might be a branded like FIFA gift card that you could give them that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the disc speaks volumes. Something they hold on to later. They show your grandkids like, oh, look what Grandpappy gave me back in Hanukkah of 2023.
Mm.
Blow the dust off of it.
Mm. GC, what do you say?
Yeah, I've always been a physical disc guy. Like getting the disc. I don't think you have to be worry about them breaking it. I think you'll be all right.
All right. It's hard to get the disc. They're like I don't think you could get it on Amazon or it takes.
I know a guy.
You know a guy?
Yeah.
All right.
30 minutes away.
30 minutes away.
I'm just harping on the 30-minute wait.
Oh, right. Got it. Anyway, I don't even know. How do we get into all of that? The soccer? Anyway, I like watching it. I like supporting it. Anyone who has a problem with me supporting Nottingham Forest, you could suck an egg, and I ain't going nowhere. And by the way, moot point, they're not getting relegated. Not this year. Adam, Shalom Ariel, seeing CM Punk make his epic return to WWE. I'd like to know what your entrance music theme song would be in WWE. Baruch Hashem, Adam. I mean, it'll be hit him up. Take money. First though. And then it says on the screen, Hilwani, and I come out and I do the Scott Hall. Not to that music, of course, because my other music is playing. And I do, did you guys watch the Misfits card? They actually it was the closest I ever got to a WWE entrance. They had my name on the screen, and my guy Ade was like, Mr. 10-7, Mr. Helwani Knows, Mr. El Nariz, Mr. Was there another one? Hilwani. And I came out like this. Anyone see that? Did you catch that, Frank?
Absolutely.
We talked about this. The broadcast team blew it. The camera angle was
they went to the
was
crowd
botched.
shot, huh?
Yeah, they went to the wrong shot. But how about you getting the headline slot? You were last.
Chris Eubank, your boy, was first. Was he first? He might, or maybe it was Idris Virgo.
I think Virgo was first. He was second, and then Helwani main event. Chris Eubank was chief support to Helwani's entrance in that.
It was crazy. Scenario. I couldn't believe it as well. Can we talk about this Chris Eubank situation? What is going on here? What is?
I don't want to talk about it. My heart is being ripped out of my chest.
This thing, the amount.
By the way, we should clarify. It's not really a Chris Eubank situation. It's more a Conor Ben situation.
No, because I was watching an interview yesterday with Eddie Hearn and Charlie Parsons, Boxing Social. Shout out. They do a great job. They have a great good cop, bad cop thing going on. It's very fun. And Eddie was saying in the interview that it was more of a Chris situation. Now, this is before today's news, but that Chris takes a long time to sign on the dotted line, but he felt confident. February 3rd, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, blah, 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 blah. And then I see today, actually, I saw it from your Twitter feed because you posted the Paulo Costa pic. Now it's not. So is it dead? I haven't been on, obviously. Is it dead now? What's the problem?
I don't know. This is,
you know what this is?
This is Habib and Habib and Tony for me. I'm not going to care until it's here. I can't think about it
But here's
anymore.
my question. If in fact he did test positive, how long should he be out for?
Who knows? I mean, I'm good. Come back. Let him come back. What are we doing here at this point? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, just it seems if from the outside and I am uninitiated, it really seems like this is the BBBOC not happy with how he handled the process and trying to take it out on him. Like that's what it looks like. It really does not look like justice is being served at this point.
And if they aren't sanctioning, I don't think Matchroom is putting on this fight. So they're probably going in a different direction, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, we talked about how you have to do this fight in the UK, but do you? Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe Saudi.
No, you can't do
maybe
that.
Saudi gets it.
Also, I think maybe I'm wrong because they just had him fight in Orlando. If the BBOC is saying no to him fighting, I don't think he's then going to go take him somewhere else where there's no sanctioning body. I think that would be a slap in the face for the
but for
jurisdiction.
How long is this going to last?
I know this is crazy. This is absolutely it's dragging on forever. And I know some people will be like, "Oh, you're just favoring the Matchroom guys for whatever reason. Don't work for Matchroom. Have nothing to do with Matchroom." I'm just wondering how long this thing is going to last. So the initial positive test was over the summer of last year, and then the fight was supposed to be in early October. And I know there were 2 positive tests, but the fight fell through the first week of October. It's now the last week in November, and this fight is supposed to be in February. So we're talking approximately like a year and a half, a year and 3/4. How long is this drama gonna? And every time I go on to talk sport, they're talking about this over and over and over and over and over again. Oh my gosh.
My issue isn't even just with the timeline itself, which obvious you've highlighted it nicely. It's also with the fact that everybody was suggesting, well, Conor Ben needs to appeal this then. If he's innocent, let him make his case. He's done this. Like we've gone through the actual process. The things have happened that needed to happen. What is the holdup? What is the resolution? If you're going to say, okay, retroactively, we're suspending him for this long and this is it definitively, blah, 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 then say it. Or if we're not, let him fight in the meantime until things are sorted. It does the holding up of his career doesn't really make sense to me with the lack of clarity around this.
I also will say the fight is a bit of like a, square and a circle. I think Ben is like 147 and
I don't care.
I mean, it's a bit of a big jump. The fight would never be made if it wasn't for the last names, but I guess that's the whole point, right?
The first time, yes. Now time, there's so much drama involved. They have their own story. Oh, this is killing me. I'm dying on the inside talking about this.
Add it to the Day of Reckoning card, December 23rd, or add it to the Tyson Fury. No, it can't be Tyson Fury. That's not a Matchroom card. Yeah.
Truly though, I think you're right. I think you're ultimately right that like Eddie Hearn does so much business in the UK, it would not behoove him to do it. But if this is the way that the fighters are going to be treated, hey, maybe this is not the place for the boxing. Maybe the boxing goes somewhere else. Saudi Arabia wants it. I don't get it.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. Has anyone said it's dead?
That I haven't seen yet.
Okay.
But it just seems like it hits a roadblock.
Every time.
1 month it will be the fight is on. Here we go.
It's all
and then
but
2
done.
weeks later, the fight is off. Every single time.
Shane, hey Ariel.
Wait.
Yes.
Follow-up question from Adam.
Oh,
Like, how often do you fantasize about walking out to like a fight?
by the way, is this an actual
This
follow-up
is me
question?
asking.
Not often. No, I've never wanted
Once
to
a
be.
month?
No. I've never wanted to be a wrestler. I've never wanted to be a fighter. I've dreamed of being the guy calling the fights, or honestly, the dream was never. I never really wanted to be a play-by-play guy. Definitely didn't want to be a color analyst. I've dreamed the one thing that I've definitely dreamed of is being the Howard Cosell guy in the ring. That I love that more than anything. The guy in the ring after the fight, sweaty. We did it. Your feelings, your emotions. I love that. I love this because it's free format. I love the interviews, like those Ariel Meets interviews that I've done over the last couple of years with the WWE guys, or what we used to do back in the day in the hotel rooms. Casey and I with DC and Jones and DJ and Michael Bisping. Love that. But I've never dreamed of being the guy walking out about to fight or compete. I'm not that guy.
And then how long ago did you fantasize about being that guy in the ring? Was it like when you already had started things, or while you were still in school?
Oh, the guy holding the mic?
Yeah.
Well, I've always been captivated by the magic of TV and the characters on TV and the announcers and the broadcasters. And so I would say, like, maybe the thought started to come into my mind. I remember watching the NBA on NBC in the 6th grade, 7th grade. I was really getting into basketball. And then I started to really, so I love pro wrestling was the first thing I ever loved. And I remember renting WrestleMania 1. WrestleMania 1 was in 1985. I probably rented it in like 87 because 85 I was 3.
Oh, wow.
And then I started to like really get into wrestling, and I loved the characters like Gorilla Monsoon, who was the play-by-play guy, or Jesse Ventura, Mean Gene Okerlund backstage. So I would pretend to be those guys. And then when I was getting into boxing, seeing Larry Merchant in the ring, and later on Max Kellerman, and then starting to learn about the history of boxing, and Cosell, obviously, with Ali and all those great moments. There was just something magical about TV and how simple it was back in the day, and how there were only a few channels and everyone was watching either on TV or listening on the radio. And these were seminal moments. Like, we're talking about the NBA, how none of this matters in November and December. You can never say that about a fight. Even if it's a low-level fight, every single fight is so important. It's like that question that we always ask, biggest fight of your life? Of course it's the next one is the biggest fight of Colby Covington's life, is the biggest fight of Leon Edwards' life, is the biggest fight of Tony Ferguson's life, because of what it means right now and what the ramifications are if they win or if they lose. And I love that. It can never just be a ho-hum, ordinary walk in the park. So I would say like 9th grade is when I started to really, and I saw the Sports Illustrated about Syracuse and read that, and I've told the story before. And then when I got to Syracuse and started to be around other journalists and get to go in a radio booth and all that stuff, this is back in 2001, the wheels really started to turn. But there was the longest time where I kind of put that particular dream off to the side because it was unattainable. Because in the sport that I was covering, the most, the UFC, MMA, you couldn't do that job if you were, not a part of the promotion. And I never wanted to be a part of the promotion. I wanted to work for the network. So that's why the boxing opportunities are exciting for me because, I wasn't working for Misfits. I wasn't working for MVP, etc. When I'm doing this stuff, I'm working for the network, Showtime, DAZN, TNT, etc. That is more my speed, and that's only in the fight world are you presented with that dilemma. If you're doing the NFL and CBS, you're not working for the Chiefs or the Bills. You're working for CBS. If you're doing the NBA on ESPN, you're working for ESPN. Now, there are some broadcasters who, like Mike Breen, the best play-by-play guy in the basketball world right now. I know Rick would say the great, oh my God, Iron Eagle, but he works for the Knicks, so that's a little bit different. But I would say those guys don't really fancy themselves as journalists per se. So it's not as much of a conflict, if you will. But I would prefer to not have any conflicts. Some might say I'm dumb. Lord knows I've turned down a hell of a lot of things. I mean, I'll be 100% honest with you guys. BKFC asked me if I would be open to going this weekend. I just can't do it. Would be fun. Would love to do it. Can't do it. It just leads to too many problems. Shane, hey Ariel, curious on the boys' thoughts on this far-off potential fight, as I feel it hasn't been mentioned often. Bo Nickel versus Joe Pyfer. Sell it as the battle of Dana's boys. Who would win? Could we actually see this happen one day? Sure, I don't see why not. Same weight class. Love the fight. Not right now. Pyfer a little bit further along, but love the fight. And I think I heard Bo Nickel maybe fighting in Miami. Am I crazy? I think I heard him say that somewhere. But I like the fight a lot. But not right now. Pyfer's a little further along. He's fighting Jack Hermanson, which is a great opportunity for him. Big name, top 10 guy. Wish it wasn't at the Apex. Nevertheless. When's the last time we saw Bo Nickel? Was it the Miami card last year?
No, was it 285?
When was it? Well, was it the March? Yeah, was it
the John Jones card?
It was before the Miami card. Yeah, that's right.
No.
July 8th. Yes.
The late replacement, Val Woodburn at International Fight Week.
Last minute. Val Woodburn. Everyone loved him.
Minus 1,600 favorite.
Was that it?
Yeah. Supposed to be fighting Trayshawn Gore.
Right. Drumble, with PFL acquiring Bellator completely, do you all think there's a chance of any trades with UFC? No. N-O. They got the Bellator guys now as opposed to waiting till January so that the UFC wouldn't have an opportunity to take them. But if you're the UFC, how many guys on that roster do you truly want? 3 that you truly want? Would you say Usman, Patchy, Eblin? Am I missing someone that you truly like are entertaining a trade? 3? And are any of them making that big impact upon being I would love to see trades in MMA. I just don't see it happening. Like an impact like a guy like Ben Askren, who we were talking about for years and years and years about whether or not he can hang in the UFC or whether he should be in the UFC. They're just not at that point at the moment. And at some point, those guys are going to be free agents, and at some point, the UFC will have an opportunity to go there. And they most likely, as it is the case with 98% of the fighters out there, end up in the UFC in some way, shape, or form. Danny, Ariel and crew, how do you manage to navigate the ugliness that so much of the online MMA community presents, either to you or the fighters? The new Twitter algorithm seems to send so much more of it my way. It can be disheartening, to say the least. I love the information I can access online, but is it worth being exposed to the obvious hate that is so prevalent? I mean, I guess it depends on, what you're looking at, what you're consuming. The internet can be an ugly place. It can be a very divisive and toxic and gross place, but you just got to try to find, you got to try to find the stuff that doesn't lead you down that path. I try here on the show to be a celebratory, positive place. I know some people think I look for beefs and stuff like that, but the truth is, I really do try to celebrate the sport and the athletes and talk about it in the best way possible or the most entertaining way possible without so much, baggage and toxicity and crossing lines and things like that. And yeah, Twitter, X, it is feeding a lot of that stuff. You just have to try to do your best to not get sucked in. I don't know what to say. There's a lot of weird shit out there, but there's a lot of good shit too, and you just have to try your best. I don't really have like a great answer. What do you think, GC? What's the best way to go about this? It's all there. You just have to try to ignore it and
I was gonna say you just ignore it. You just move on with your day.
Yeah.
I feel like Rick's always the one handing out
that is true.
Great philosophies on this, especially the whole TST on Monday.
Yeah. Rick, what do we do? A lot of toxicity out there. Fans are disheartened. They want their fights, they want their stories, they want their positive stuff. They don't want all the other shit.
The power is in your hands. You are the curator. You are the one deciding what you consume, and maybe it's time to unfollow some people that you follow. It's time to potentially move from one platform to another. Don't go seeking things that are not going to be beneficial to you. Like, I know it can be hard and addicting, and it's not as easy as like just ignore this, but it kind of is just ignore this. Like, if you are not having a good experience on that platform, cut that platform. If there's something that you can't live without on that platform, sure. But if it's just for entertainment and you're finding you're on the negative side of it more than the positive, snip it. Time to cut it. Move to something else. Don't let it warp your mental space because you feel like you can't be separated from it. Separate. Time to go. Just like any relationship.
Do you feel like Twitter throws more of this stuff your way these days?
It depends on what feed, I guess. Like on the For You feed, there's definitely more potential for that. On the following feed, I mean, again, as I said, you're the curator, right? Like, you're deciding who you follow. If people that you follow are putting this stuff in your feed, unfollow them. Or if you feel like you can't be on Twitter anymore, get off Twitter. Go choose a new platform.
Can I ask you a question? When did the whole algorithm thing start? Like, I hear that term so much and I understand it.
When did it start? I don't know. Sometime in the early 2010s, I would say, as the platforms got more mature, they realized that. Oh yeah, as the platforms got more mature, they realized that if you're just getting things from people that you follow, the networks are too small, the communities are too small. You need to be able to discover new people, otherwise the growth is impossible. So yeah, they prioritize that. But again, you can find ways to, like, Instagram is probably a good platform if what you're looking for is not a lot of the discourse and just content, and with a feed that you've curated. You can probably find that. There's options out there. We have to take some responsibility. It is not just all these benevolent platform things that happen. Like, certainly there is part of that, and certainly they are powerful, but you don't need to be on them. There's absolutely no requirement.
Is Instagram more positive than Twitter?
See, this is the thing. This is what I'm kind of saying, right? Like, the platforms don't have a voice. It's your people that you follow on the platform that create the voice.
I do feel like on the For You page, there's a lot of shit there that I don't. I mean, like, there's political stuff. There's all this other stuff that I never engage with whatsoever, and it's still there.
Well, the dirty secret is it's there because everybody wants that, right? We've collectively, as a society and as a group, decided that this is the content that we engage with the most and is most compelling. That's a larger question. The meta of where are we going as a society, I think, is reflected in the social.
Like, if I go on Reels on Instagram and I just like scroll up, I feel like it's a lot more in my wheelhouse of the things I'm interacting with.
Do you follow the exact same people on both platforms?
No, but it's the same type of content. Is it one for one? I don't know.
That's not what I asked, though.
I see
if
a lot
you
of
follow the same
street
people,
fights and stuff like that. Like, what is these? I don't want to see these street fights.
It's tangentially related enough that enough people in your orbit seem to like that. or you've searched similar enough things that it's trying.
I can assure you, I don't search any political or any street fights.
What it's trying to do and failing at is trying to give you content that you actually like. That's what it's actually trying to do. It's trying to serve you things that like, hey, you liked that. Maybe you'll like
on
this.
The platform, yeah.
To keep you there, but it is not doing it sufficiently, and this is where the tweaking comes. Unfollow some people.
Let me just say this about MMA in particular. Believe it or not, this has always been a thing. We could talk about it's always been a thing. You may be a little bit newer, but it's been a thing. It was just on different platforms. It used to be on the UG or SureDog, or other places. And Twitter has been around for a long time. It's always been a thing. It will always be a thing. You just have to do your best to try to find the stuff that makes you feel good about the sport. AJ Hawk, what? Greetings, Ariel. Well, I don't want it to happen. It seems as if the Apex are going to play a prominent role in 2024. Are we slowly going into a UFC world where pay-per-views are going to be the only events with crowds and every fight night is going to be at the Apex? Much amount of no, absolutely not. In fact, I feel like the Apex cards are less and less. They're still going to be around. And as I've said, there's tiers now. Like this weekend's fight night is much better than your typical Apex fight night. So it will be there for the foreseeable future. But no way. They're not going to give up, a Paris card here, an Austin card there. What's another place where they did a fight night and it wasn't, there's talk of Dublin. There's talk of going to Asia. Like those, they were in Singapore. No, those are always going to be a thing. And they were always a thing back in the day. Apex will be a thing, but they're not phasing those out. No way. Connor, Dana recently said on the critically acclaimed Nelk podcast that they were potentially working on a super fight not involving Conor McGregor. Do you have any idea what fight they could be alluding to? Pereira Izzy 3, perhaps someone from Bellator coming over to the UFC, Nate Dustin. Not Nate Dustin, I can assure you of that. And Pereira Izzy 3, I've not heard anything of that, and that would surprise me a little bit. Someone from Bellator coming over, I haven't heard that. I saw the write-ups about that, but I don't know anything about who he's talking about there, to be honest. But definitely not Nate Dustin, even though I'd love to see that. Go ahead.
Can I ask you a larger question?
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy, Jacob, who asked me this, and I didn't know the answer. What is a super fight anymore? What do we actually consider a super fight? When I read that, I said to myself, what is the scope of possibility here? I don't even know what super fights mean anymore. It used to be like champion going up a weight class, right? Or like, we're going to get GSP versus BJ Penn. That's a super fight. And now it's like, that's kind of like the commonplace. That's kind of the regular. I don't even know what a super fight actually means anymore.
It's also a little bit of a indictment on like the lack of superstars, right?
Sure.
There's a lot of great fighters. I don't know how many superstars there are.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just go through the champions, right? Because I would imagine a super fight would involve champions, would it not?
I don't know. I'm truly like I don't actually know the answer. I'm asking you, what would be a super fight?
John Jones' involvement against Stipe feels super fight-ish, but it's also just a regular title fight at this juncture. I'm gonna put Jones to the side because he's gone for a while. Pereira, I guess the only super fight that could involve Pereira would be Izzy, and that's not a super fight.
He fought twice.
Yeah, that's not a super fight.
Twice.
Strickland fighting Pereira is not a super fight. Leon fighting Strickland or Islam fighting Leon, those don't feel like super fights. Is
Bellator versus UFC a super fight?
No.
Yeah, because then they'd just be bringing them in, right? Like, I don't know.
No.
I truly, when I read the headline, I was like, what are the possibilities here? I actually have no idea what this could possibly be. Not like, didn't have one inclination because I don't know what that even means at this point.
115 champ versus 120. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything unless I'm missing something here. I really don't see anything that would fall under that category. Sean O'Malley. I mean, we know he's fighting. Yeah,
For me, it would have to be. You know what I would consider a super fight? Deontay Wilder versus Francis Ngannou in MMA. That is what I would consider a super fight. Like, it would have to be something completely out there, off the wall bananas like that for me to be like, sure, super fight.
But you're right.
I don't even know
original, like the original super fight for me, or not original, but BJ Penn versus GSP was a super fight. Hoist Gracie against Matt Hughes at UFC 60 was a super fight. The much talked about GSP Anderson Silva fight was a super fight. Connor versus...
It has to be something that's like not in the flow of like the standard sport.
Yeah, Connor versus Floyd, super fight. Yeah, I don't see anything at the moment. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see anything. Not to say that they aren't working on something, but I don't know what it is. Peter, what's the story, Ariel? What's the story? I hope you and the family are all good. My question this week is Khalil Roundtree Jr. was scheduled to fight a 13-0 Russian this weekend, but he pulled out close to the card. Do we put too much stake in the undefeated record? What is he trying to say? That the 13-0... Do we put too much stake in the undefeated record? I don't really understand the question, but I don't feel like MMA does that. I feel like, unlike boxing, it's one of the good things about MMA. You lose a fight, no one writes you off. I don't feel like undefeated is a big part of the selling, especially for the guys coming up. Like if someone's 27-0 like Khabib, they build it up as 27-0, but the 0 doesn't mean as much in MMA as it does in boxing, at least in my opinion. And what I mean by that is it's not like a selling point. 13-0 Russian fighting Khalil Roundtree, that's just a fight on the card. There are some great fighters who have several losses on their record, and no one thinks less of them. Frank, do you understand the question here, or are you just throwing them up there,
I thought maybe it'd make more sense to you.
Yeah, sure. DC2, hello, Ariel and crew. You guys have been fantastic. Oh, sorry. You guys have been having fantastic guest lists recently, and specifically interviews with Eddie Alvarez and Sean O'Malley, where their future opponents join live for a small segment, is badass. Knowing that you guys have relationships inherently from meeting and conversing with fighters like both Sean O'Malley and Cheeto, I was wondering what the emotions are like for you journalists when they are locked in the cage together come fight night. Are you nervous to see either lose when you enjoy both, or do you root for any particular storyline? I mean, if I really don't root. The only thing I root for is who's easier to get on the show. If there's anything that I'm rooting for, but I'm not sitting there going like, come on, get like Cheeto and O'Malley's. I like both of them very much. I don't wish any harm on them. I want them to have great success. No real like horse in that race, so to speak. Also for the Parlay boys, what do you guys expect the emotions to be like when Juliana Pena steps in the octagon for her next title fight? As always, have a great rest of the week show. I will admit, the one time where I felt like sick to my stomach watching a fight was actually DC Stipe 3, because then we were like all in on the show. We had been doing it since March. This fight was in August. I couldn't go because of the pandemic and we weren't traveling, and it was hard to watch. Because then at that point I was, open with our relationship and, the friendship and all that stuff. And that was the closest I ever felt to. However, I've heard family members talk about I can't imagine a wife watching her husband compete. I can't imagine a husband watching his wife compete. I can't, like what Dan Hardy's going to do this weekend, can't imagine. Now, maybe it's easier because he's cornering Veronica, so he could be there and, help her out with nerves. Cannot imagine what those nerves are like. I mean, I can't. Absolutely. I mean, the nerves, the stress, the anxiety, can't imagine. Do you guys think you'll have that feeling when Juliana fights?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Hell yeah.
Is there
That's our girl right there.
Rick, is there one fighter that makes you more nervous than others?
No, I mean, early days, it was obviously BJ Penn.
Yeah.
Now, no, I don't have that investment anymore. We've been working in this sport so long. I think the idea of like the fandom goes further and further away as you learn more about it and know everybody, right? Like, and all of a sudden it's not as easy to just be like, yeah, that's my favorite person. Like I don't have anybody like that anymore.
GC?
I mean, I got some guys that I cheer for harder than others, but no one that I'm like pins and needles nervous for. Because like Rick says, like everybody now. Mm-hmm. Like I remember when I was first starting up as a fan, like even in title fights, I would only know one half of it, so I would just be cheering for one guy as hard as I could. Now it's like you sort of know everyone.
Other than Jake Paul, anyone for you, Frank?
Amanda Serrano, right? Yeah, gotta be.
Kayla.
Mark Goddard.
Shout out. And Herb
The refs for Frankie.
I mean, they really are putting themselves out there.
It's weird. You say Jake Paul, Amanda, Kayla. You're like an all PFL guy.
It sure seems that way, huh? Do you see my shirt today?
No.
PFL shirt.
Is it really?
Absolutely.
It's actually a Don Davis shirt.
Love it. Wow, with his face on it?
Yeah, shout out.
Double D. And
I also think
yes?
that I was just going to say the individualism of the sport, right, makes it different. Because, like, you're a Knicks fan. There's turnover. There's different people coming in. It gives you the, like, you can root for the squad without feeling like there's a bias toward individual players and things like that. In MMA, the players are the teams. So now all of a sudden it's like, I mean, the fighters are the teams. Now all of a sudden it's like, if I root for this team, now I'm rooting against this team, and it's a person, and it becomes different. Like, I feel like that element of it makes it very hard, especially working in the sport.
I get most nervous when it's a combination of stakes in a fight and like how much I know or think I know what's going to happen. So like Aspinall Pavlovich, I had no idea what was going to happen. Monster stakes, MSG. Like that's when I get nervous. Like heart starts beating faster.
It's like the goosebumps.
Yeah, it's like
the goosebumps instead of the
Yeah, it's like almost nervy excitement. But like that's when I most get like, whoa, this is crazy, lock in. can't turn away from the screen is when the stakes get higher and I have no idea what's about to happen.
Can we also talk about Dan Boyle making an appearance during the
Yeah, it was big stuff.
I mean,
also, can we talk about you nailing that he won the cup with the Lightning?
Yeah, I remember having.
We won't address the 3 versus 22 thing, but that was very impressive.
But I knew he was defense, and I was like, why did I think 3? I associate 3. And I remember him being on the Canadian team, 2010, Vancouver. I was there, the Golden Goal, Sidney Crosby. But like, how random is that? DC in a golf cart with Dan Boyle?
Also, him just bailing on the game.
DC?
Like, yeah, I mean, ninth hole, he's just like, peace, y'all, drop me off. Didn't grab his clubs.
The whole thing made me very...
I've got to say, I've on this show, you've come to us and you've asked us like, hey, where do you think I stand with DC? Where do you think relationship is? And we've kind of read the tea leaves and pointed to things. I will say today was a big step.
That was a big step?
Today, him stepping out of the golf game to come sit down and spend an hour with his old friend.
Why couldn't he have told me that he was playing golf that time?
It was intentional.
Let's chalk it up to him, slow play in front of him. He thought he was going to be at the turn right at 2:00.
Yeah.
The people in front of him were taking forever, so he was still on the 9th hole. And they said, you know what? I'm not even going to finish the 9th.
You think that was big?
You're taking it for granted.
Can you imagine if he just
stepped
came
out
on?
of his love to spend time with you? He stepped out of what he loves to spend time with you.
I think we really would have been in some trouble if he was just like, give me 1 sec. I got to hit this shot. 1 sec. Hold on. Sorry, 1 sec.
I kind of wanted to see it in action. I think we would have been...
No, you did not. If he did that, you would have lost your mind. If he was trying to still play the holes and stepping in and out.
If he had come on and he said, I was supposed to golf today, but I decided not to do this interview, you wouldn't believe him. And
you would have.
That would have meant a lot.
You have to see it.
That is true. Yeah, if he was like, I cancel my golf plans for you, you'd be like, it's probably raining outside.
I think that was all part of the plan. Like, I'm getting out of the cart.
You think he wanted to show
the smile on his face,
the loyalty,
and that he knew as soon
it
as
was a
he
great
ripped it to him.
conversation. He said it. An hour-long conversation flew by. I thought it was good stuff.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
50
it.
minutes.
And then he looks at it and goes, how long have we been talking? And you said like 50 minutes. He's like,
Exactly.
Let's go more. Don't even care.
I think he was like, we got to wrap this up here. I got the water. I'm talking too much.
Opposite. He was trying to stick around with his pal.
Very
I was impressed by DC today.
Hearing his respect for people that have won Olympic medals is cool.
Yeah.
Like him knowing how hard it is. It's cool to hear the respect.
One thing I learned from DC back in the day, you never say former Olympic gold medalist.
Always an Olympic champ.
Always. Andrew from Alaska. Hello, Ireland crew. All of the conversions or conversations, I think he means, about PFL and illegal elbows has got me thinking, if there were ever to be a unified rules of MMA, what rule that is only present in one promotion would you want to see included? Example, ground and knees in one championship, no elbows in PFL, hydration testing in one championship. Thank you for everyone's hard work to bring us this show every week. I mean, I don't... Ground and knees, I know the freaking hipsters will love this. I'm not dying for ground and knees. Certainly not dying for soccer kicks. The no elbows thing is not my cup of tea. The hydration testing, I don't even know what that is, to be honest. I'm still confused by it. It doesn't even make a lot of sense to me. I like the rules that we have here in America for the most part. Like the rules that you see in Bellator or UFC, those to me are the best version, really. I don't really need, like, the grounded knees. No. Yeah. I'm sorry if that's a boring answer, but I think what we get here in North America is totally fine. Slava, last one. Hey, Ariel. I was watching PFL last week, and to my utter shock, I saw that the ref in one of the bouts was Mario Yamasaki. Yes. I know the commissions choose the officials, not the UFC, but I figured after the UFC blackballed him, he'd be done. I don't know. I don't really know what happened there, so I don't even know if blackballed is a fair thing to say. But obviously, he wasn't one of their favorites, just like Steve Mazzagatti wasn't one of their favorites. Is he making a comeback, or have you seen him at other major events? Do you know if he still has the belief system of letting people get beat to a pulp so they could go down like warriors? As always, thanks for being awesome. Mario Yamasaki is a DC guy. He and his brother have multiple gyms in DC, and that event was in DC. And so very good chance that he has relationships with the commission. I know he's worked at other DC events. They're in DC. Maybe he doesn't want to travel anymore, but he's down to do it if it's a local event. So that's why you saw him there. He's a local guy. He's a fixture in the DC martial arts community, and obviously has good relationships with the commission. And yes, you are right. The commissions here in America, they choose who will ref, who will judge, as opposed to some jurisdictions, some countries overseas. And so I know the UFC can say certain things, or the promotion can say, we don't want this person, we don't want that person. But for the most part, who is deciding who goes where and who does what? It is the state commission. And he's a DC guy with DC roots and DC ties, and that's why you saw him there. And I don't suspect that you're going to see him at other events across the country, because I don't think that that's what he is focusing on these days, because he has his schools with his brother, excuse me. All right, great questions. Thank you very much to everyone who sent them in. Appreciate y'all very much. Let's get to the picks. Do want to let you know, as always, that today's program is brought to you by our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Yes, big UFC event this weekend. Yeah. Back in Austin, beautiful Austin, one of the few American cities left on my list of cities that I haven't been to and that I would really like to go to. Beneil Dariush looking to get back on track after the loss to Charles DuBronx, going up against Arman Sarukian. Big time fight, number 3 versus number 8. What about Jalen Turner taking a fight on short notice against the always dangerous, the resurging Bobby Green? Bobby King Green. Rob Font going up against the former UFC flyweight champion Davison Figueiredo, moving up to 135. Very excited to see how he looks and how he competes and how he just, kind of feels out there at 135. Davison Figueiredo, Deutsch de Guerra. What about Sean Brady? Big time fight for him against Kelvin Gastelum. Big opportunity for Sean Brady, 15-1. Looking to get back on track. We haven't seen Sean Brady since October when he lost to Bilal Muhammad. This is a big opportunity for him. Clay Guida is back as well. Other names of note on this card: Puna Soriano, Misha Tate on the prelims. You got that. You've got the return of Mick Conlon, and I can't wait for the return of Ryan Garcia on Saturday night. New customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on any and all of these events, including basketball and football as well. Win or lose, you get an instant dub. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code DMAR. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on any and all of these events, including basketball and football as well. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code DMAR. The crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY. That's 467-369. Must be 21 and older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com. Yeah. All right, what do we got, gents? What do we got? Big time stuff.
Yep. Already got Pena's pick in. Brady Gastelum over 1.5.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, I like that too.
What is
So,
Could I give a brief update
Sure.
please.
before we make the rest of the picks?
Please.
The number one. Okay, this is in their bio. Hold on. There's a lot to unpack here. Let me just do this. The account is called Mission Accomplished, the number one bare knuckle podcast on the planet. So, a good authority on this. There are odds at DraftKings for bare knuckle fighting championship.
Really?
I'm not sure it's in every state because I looked and could not find. But he showed me odds for current odds for Mike Perry and Eddie Alvarez. Perry minus 345, Alvarez plus 275 at DraftKings. So it is available in some locations. And he said the rest of the card usually pops up after the weigh-ins as well. So there are odds if you're out there. There's certain places you can get it.
That's actually a good point by dude. I actually have, now that you say that, I have had people show me. Like I feel like Kansas has it, maybe like Oklahoma, those like sort of middle America.
It might be
states.
where they're legalized to do the bare knuckle events and things like that. Who knows? I don't actually know that.
It's definitely location based though, because I know we don't have it on DraftKings up here.
But shout out to them.
There's also the Ben Rothwell Todd Duffy fight.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this.
Shout out to Todd Duffy.
So I would say, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me just make sure here. I would say there is. Oh no, those are the 4 biggest events of the weekend in combat sports. UFC,
what
BKFC, UFC, BKFC, Ryan Garcia, Mick Conlon.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the best fight of the weekend?
Best fight,
man.
What's the most intriguing fight? What's the fight of those 4 cards? We're talking some, I don't know, 35, 40 fights, if not more. What's the most intriguing fight of them all? I know.
Is it Perry Alvarez? I mean,
yeah,
probably.
I mean, like from an entertainment standpoint, yeah, it just feels like Perry Alvarez is going to deliver no matter what. Curious to see, Dariush Arman Sarukian.
Yeah,
Figueiredo at 135.
Perry Alvarez is going to be great. King
Yeah,
of
but it's
Violence
going to be great.
online?
It's going to be the most, entertaining. I'm talking
Most
about
talked about for sure.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
For me, the one I'm probably looking forward to the most is Font and Figueiredo. It's such a crazy, weird, fun fight, and
great.
both of those guys are awesome.
That's like I want to know who wins, and I want to know how they win and how they look. Whereas Mike Perry and Eddie Alvarez is just going to be pure entertainment.
Well, Perry in BK is just.
I mean, it's gold. It's lightning in a bottle.
Alvarez and BK, that fight against Shaq Mendes was
now we're getting both of them.
That fight
King
is
of violence.
That fight is going to be amazing. That fight is and Duffy Rothwell is going to be pretty insane too. I think.
Oh,
for as long as it lasts,
that one's going to get brutal. That one is going to get brutal. We're sure Todd Duffy is fighting? That's not just a Wikipedia.
It's not a Wikipedia edit.
I should have mentioned that to DC. Isn't it weird?
I came across that one yesterday.
It was a great one.
It's pretty hilarious.
Yes,
it's pretty
every
hilarious
week.
because you're firing through the card.
Because every week someone used to put Todd Duffy in there.
Yeah, I know it's just hilarious. You're going through it.
Those old DC and Helwani clips are all timers. The early DC and Helwani clips. Those are some of the best of the internet.
The Salon.
It was this week. Jalen Turner, Bobby Green, Rob Font, Davis and Figueiredo, Todd Duffy. Wait, no, Todd Duffy's not fighting. Then DC's like, I talked to him this morning.
Yes, I know. Every week they would slide that in. Todd Duffy against fucking.
I mean, that's a hilarious troll. Like
John Vellante.
Whoever was doing
running
that
it down, and I got caught.
Funny.
Oh my god!
Whoever was doing that is that's a genius troll.
I think someone made T-shirts, by the way. Duffy Vellante.
Of that?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's funny.
That's incredible.
All right, what do you got?
All right, let's throw in the randomizer for the last 3 picks. Here we go. All right. Frank, you get to kick us off, man. Big one for you. Do we go back to the well? Yeah. Then Rick, then I will come up in the rear.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I had to give this one a lot of thought.
Oh.
There's where my heart wants, and then there's where my wallet wants, So I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Jalen Turner.
What?
Y'all must have forgot.
Wow.
I'm going with Bobby Green. There's no question.
Wow, that was great production.
Yeah.
I was like, what is it? It's amazing.
My heart almost couldn't handle it.
I knew something had to be up when Frank gave us such an elongated speech.
Yeah, I know. Usually
it would have been like, I really toiled over this one, Bobby Green. Yes, that's amazing, though. We're going back to the well on Bobby Green. If you're not aware, Frank took Bobby Green at what he thought was minus 320. It was actually plus 320. And he won in like 44 seconds against Grant Dawson.
Incredible.
So, I mean, what's the saying, Rick? Go to the dance with the girl you brought or something?
Yeah. Go to dance with the girl who brought you. Or the guy who brought you.
There it is.
Bingo. I love that. It's, you know what it is? It has inspired me. I was going to go with a safer pick, and now I'm going to go with Veronica Hardy.
Damn it.
Solid pick.
That's what I was going to do. That's what I was going to do. I already had it uploaded into the bet slip. Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to take Veronica
What is
Hardy,
she?
Yeah.
Is she favorite? Her last?
No. Plus 136.
Wow. Last fight, too, I think she was a dog.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she looked not like a dog in that fight. That's for damn sure.
I mean, how could you not be
a similar
inspired
situation
after what the Hardys had to say when they were in studio last week?
Going up against the undefeated Canadian. Now,
Wow, you really threw a wrench in this one here, Ricky.
GC's struggling here. GC's struggling, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I was really...
I'll pick something else if you want to take it.
No. I'll
What state is BKFC available in?
Yeah, I guess
we don't know.
Not the one we're in, unfortunately. You know what? I'll keep it risky and I'll keep this one close to home. I will go with a money line. Our man,
King Rye?
No, I did think about that.
Easy money.
Yeah, I think it's easy money too. But I mean, we're having fun here. We're trying to make this parlay as big as possible. I'll go with Rob Font.
Ooh.
Against the debuting.
Wow.
135
I dig it.
Minus 155. That brings us, boys,
Wow.
to plus 1,421.
Let's get this one.
Wait,
Let's
what?
get this
man,
one.
yeah.
Plus 1,000?
We got two underdogs on here. We got
Bobby Green's a big dog.
plus 180 Bobby Green, plus 136 Veronica Hardy, minus 155 Rob Font, Sean Brady, Kelvin Gastelum, over 100.
Yo.
Minus 250.
We've never had plus 1,000, have we?
I don't think so, but this
Not
would...
only plus 1,000. Plus 1,420.
Sure.
421.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Close. That close to being nice. Yeah, I mean, if we hit this one, then, I mean, we might as well just... That's when we truly retire. You got your guys' jerseys can join mine in the rafters.
There'll be an empty
the
seat
MMA Hour
in
gambling.
front of the soundboard.
You know what's
on Monday.
great about this? It's like a free roll because all this is going to get blamed on Frank if it loses. So
100%,
whatever.
100%.
no,
You
no
know, you
pressure
guys
on
are
me.
unbelievers. Yeah.
How terrible would that be, though, if we go 3-4 in the one that costs us Bobby Green?
I don't know what world you guys are living.
He'll be up last, too. He'll be up last, I think.
Bobby Green is
By the way,
that big of an underdog?
No,
yeah,
plus
I
180.
don't think the line is too accurate. I think Green should be closer in this fight, especially considering the short notice for Turner. I don't think that Green should be this big a dog.
Yeah.
Although I would favor Turner.
Interesting. It's gonna be fun. I mean, now, whew.
I thought when you guys were gonna do was like Taruki and Dariush over 1.5 or something like that.
That was my pick until Frank
Bro.
picked Bobby, and then I switched to Hardy.
And then when he took Veronica, I knew I had to take something under minus 200. Biggest favorite on our parlay, Juliana Pena minus 250.
Wow.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, what else we got?
All right, let's go to the singles. Don't have a ton of action this weekend. A little bit of a tougher card from a betting standpoint, but I will start out. First fight on the card, Veronica Hardy.
Oh.
I mean, this is sort of just a vibes bet based off of last week. I mean, how can you not after hearing the confidence that the Hardys exuded when they came into the studio last week? I mean, they say she's a whole new fighter. She showed that last time out against Juliana Miller, and I'm just going to take their word for it. I'm just going to trust them there. I placed the bet while I was sitting here, while her and Dan were doing their interviews. I was like, you know what? She's fighting next week. She's an underdog. Might as well throw a little shot on it. We keep it rolling. Really learned to appreciate a good Steve Garcia fight. I mean, every time he goes out there, it's just all action. Feels like he's an underrated guy when he gets in there. I think this one is going to be the same. I think he's just going to engage in a brawl, and I think Costa's going to be willing to do the same. 7 of Garcia's last 8 fights have ended by knockout, whether he is winning or he is losing. I don't know if he's going to win or if he's going to lose, but I feel fairly confident in the fact that he's just going to put him in a phone booth and they're going to start swinging until someone falls. So I like the under 2.5 here at this price. Let's keep it rolling. Clay Guida, still fighting, man. 62nd, I think. His 62nd career professional fight, taking on Neto BJJ Joaquim Silva. I'm going to take this fight to not go the distance. Joaquim Silva, 5 straight fights, whether he is winning or losing, have not gone the distance. He's very athletic. He pushes a pace. So does Guida. I think both these guys are going to come in here, and it's going to get hectic. I think there's multiple ways that this fight can end. Silva's got hands, but he is a BJJ black belt, and Clay Guida has been submitted 11 times throughout his professional career, including 7 in the UFC. Guida not as live for a finish, but there are ways that he can finish this fight, including by submission. But what I just mentioned, 11 losses by submission for our man Clay Guida, and he's taking on a guy in Neto BJJ with a black belt. Hasn't gotten a sub yet in the UFC. Might as well make this time the first. I'm going to go with Joaquim Silva by sub plus 300. And if I'm taking a sub prop, it's probably losing. So hopefully you guys are not on Joaquim Silva by sub. And then last money line bet or last single for UFC Austin, I'm going to go with Kelvin Gastelum going down to 170 in a very tough test against Sean Brady. But I do believe if he can stuff the takedowns, I think he's going to have a lot of success in this fight. I think his just always coming forward, the pressure that he uses can create problems for Sean Brady that we saw last time out against Bilal Muhammad. Not fully off the Brady train. Like I didn't get thrown off by Bilal, but I think this is a matchup that Kelvin Gastelum can take advantage of some deficiencies in Brady's striking game. 2, the parlays. I like this one very much. Ihor and Rodolfo Bellato under 2.5. Cody Brundage and Reese under 2.5 as well. And then lastly, Misha Tate and Avila over 1.5. And Puna Soriano. So still 7 bets, but the last few weeks we have had quite a bit of action. And then I will have one more bet on Saturday. If you don't know.
Oh, here it is.
You better know. SEC Championship. Georgia money line, baby. It's going to get intense at 4 o'clock. We got UFC Austin kicking off. Georgia, Alabama, spot in the playoff on the line. This is make or break. This is everything.
It's 4 spots, right?
4 spots, but if Georgia loses, they're out.
No, I know. And why, by the way, would they be out?
Because of the way everything lines up. So, you got Michigan undefeated.
Even though they cheat.
Yeah, that's the claim, but they're still going to be able to make the college football playoff, and they're minus 3,000 against Iowa in the Big Ten championship. You got FSU favored this weekend as well, who's still undefeated.
Wow, FSU back
undefeated, but they lost their quarterback in Jordan Travis, so they could lose this weekend. You got Washington and Oregon playing 11-1 versus 12-0.
Okay,
so you have to think that one of them is going to get in when they have the conference championship. If Bama wins, that'll knock Georgia out because they'll both be 12-1 and they just beat them. You have Texas playing for the Big 12 championship, also at 11-1, who they went to Alabama and beat Bama. This is the most stacked it's been to get in the playoffs. So if they lose, they are.
And this is the last year before it expands to 12, 8?
Correct.
12.
Yeah.
And what?
Nervy moments this weekend.
Squeaky bum time.
Oh yeah. Whole way
I couldn't help but notice it said 1,900 units there.
1,900
are you gonna have to
units
sleep
to
in the
1,000.
studio if this doesn't work?
Yeah, 1,900 to 1,000.
1,900 on Georgia?
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I just put a giant number there just for the hell of it.
I was gonna say you're such a big fan. Isn't it better to just not bet? You're already so emotionally invested.
Right, we're just doubling down. I want to be completely crippled if they lose on Saturday, financially, emotionally, spiritually.
That's an interesting thing. Is there a philosophy? You would be the one to ask about this, GC. Do you ever make the bet on the other side so that you win either way, or do you always do the double down on your side?
This has always been very weird to me. Betting against your team.
No, I don't bet against my team.
No, I know.
I bet on them, so I'm just completely a broken man.
I kind of get it, though.
Oh, I hate that. That's bad. That's bad mojo. That's bad.
I know, because it depends how much you put, too, because then you kind of find yourself cheering against your team. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I want it all. I want to either be ecstatic after winning a bet and my team winning.
Always do that. Always do that. Bet against their team. It's
the happy hedge.
Even if even if my team loses, at least I won. Like,
don't do that.
That's crazy.
I want to come Saturday 8:00. I want to either be ecstatic or just a shell of myself.
I get it.
Okay, but
I get it.
You've seen back-to-back national championships. Like, you can't be that devastated.
But you want the third.
Well,
you want to at least make the playoff.
History?
You at least want to make the playoff.
This loss wouldn't mean it wouldn't hurt as much as if we're 2 years ago before they win the first one.
I mean, yes, that's true. That is true. But like,
you've seen 2 national championships back to back. That's more than most people see in their lifetime.
Yes, but you have to understand, like, you want to see the third and you want to make the playoff. This is like, the season is completely over and done if they lose.
It's all gravy.
You want the three-peat.
By the way, you still get into a bowl game.
For what? An exhibition?
This is my problem with college football. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. What does it really mean? Or whatever.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is important for a team that went 9-3.
Right.
But like a team that went 12-0 is on the precipice of winning 3 national championships. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl means nothing.
Of course.
I think it's how close. If they were out early, then I think you're like, it's gravy, whatever. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But they're so close now that, like, if you can do it again, I mean, that's pretty.
Breaking records too.
I say this as a person who's never been in this position before, so I could very well one day hopefully be in this position and be like, nah, I want the third. But
of course,
me sitting here, I'm like,
say we lose, we don't win a third national title, and then next year we're in the same position, it will mean far less. If we're just trying to get another one, then it's just like, all right, this doesn't.
You want the three-peat.
Bad.
Do you want the three-peat worse than the repeat?
Way worse. 10 times worse.
Wow. Are you just
three-peat is like the history. The three-peat is like the flex. That's where it's just like, I mean, I can almost retire as a Georgia fan. It's just like done. It's
never been done.
Got my degree, got my three-peat. Hasn't been done since like 1936 or something.
Who's the starting quarterback?
Carson Beck.
Is he going to be number 1 pick?
No.
Top 10?
Our best player is a tight end. He'll be top 10.
No one will be number 1.
From Georgia?
Yeah.
No.
How many of the players, if they win this third one in a row, how many will have won all 3?
That's actually a great question. Our best player will have won all 3. There's probably like 10 to 12 that'll have won all 3.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, not many. I mean, we send a lot of guys to the draft.
Right. I feel like that should be shout out to James Cook.
Shout out to James Cook.
Yeah. Did he win 1?
He did win 1, yeah.
Yeah. Same coach.
Same coach, Kirby, baby.
If they win on Saturday, he's getting interviewed first.
Sure.
Even though he did nothing.
You hate the coach.
I mean, you say he did nothing.
I'm kidding.
He comes over to the program.
No,
now we're
of course he did a lot. No, of course. Listen, I'm the one who's saying blame the coaches for the Bills' troubles. But I just find it weird that the dudes who just got beat up for 60 minutes aren't the ones being interviewed first.
That's all. Get some ice. Get some ice on the.
Well, in the NFL they don't do that. Coach, what do you have to say? Well, the boys, the young men, they did great things. They did their I formation, and
the fact of the matter is, no one's saying anything in those interviews.
Sometimes
that's true too. No, come on.
I like.
Go watch the latest Jalen Hurts one.
Mike McDaniel, I like him.
All right, yeah, I do.
I actually hate to say that as a Bills fan, but I really do like him.
You saw him talking
He's an interesting
to the Jets fans?
I didn't see that. I'm actually shocked that Rick knows who he is.
Wait, what?
You're not an NFL fan.
I'm a huge NFL fan.
I was going to say, I just
don't have a team.
Yeah,
I've never heard you talk about the NFL.
I watch it every Sunday.
Really?
And Thursday and Monday. Yeah. Oh, I watch every game.
Come on. We're on the group chat. Does Rick ever talk about the NFL?
All the time.
Well, it's because I'm not
too much.
Stop it.
I'm not rooting. I'm not rooting.
But I never hear you say like, oh, I can't believe this.
You guys don't talk about the NFL. You only talk about the Bills. You don't talk about the NFL. The only thing in that group chat is the Bills.
Yeah.
That is true.
I didn't. Wait, you like the NFL more than the NBA?
No. NBA is number 1, but NFL is number 2 right there.
I'm
1B.
shocked.
1B.
I really am shocked.
I love the NFL.
I will say that being the only college football fan in our group chat, like mass hysteria and chaos is breaking out on Saturday, and you guys are just like, here we go, walkouts, or is CM Punk going to show up tonight? Just like Alabama just won on like a 4th and 32 to beat Auburn in like their massive rivalry game to keep their hopes alive. You guys are like,
no
CM
clue.
Punk maybe showing up.
Yeah, that's a big. By the way, go look at the social stats. CM Punk showing.
No, I agree that it's a big deal.
1,000 times bigger than some random Alabama game. All right, just for the record.
I wonder if it was 1,000 times.
I mean, it was like the numbers that they put up were
were massive.
85 million views or something.
Yeah, Triple H did like a graphic with like all the stats on it, and it was like crazy.
Insanity.
You think Triple H was cranking that out on Photoshop?
Yes.
I think he was. I think he was.
Searched my phone for NFL.
And
the first thing that came up was a message from Rick.
Come on.
Go.
Sending something from Ringer NFL to Connor.
About what?
The league man. He wears his NFL hat around. It's the shield on.
Crazy.
Rob Lowe.
Me and Oraj.
You don't have any rooting interest in any team? Like,
no.
How's that possible? All these years of watching, there's not one team you sort of favor or one player that you want to see succeed?
There used to be players, but much like MMA, it kind of just like fell by the wayside. I am the world's biggest LaDainian Tomlinson fan. My guy forever.
Powder Blue 21.
Because of the Chargers or because of the the Jets?
Nothing to do with Chargers. Nothing to do with Jets. Drafted him in fantasy as a rookie because I was just like, this TCU guy who set every record ever is going to be good. And then it turned out he was one of the best running backs of all time.
Yeah, he was incredible.
Big LaDainian fan. But no, don't have a team. And I kind of like it that way. I get to enjoy Sunday. Like every day is a NFL red zone for me. Like I just get to watch all the games, enjoy it.
Did you watch Jets Dolphins on Friday?
Yeah.
Wow. Couldn't be bothered.
So you saw Mike McDaniel talking shit to Jets.
I saw that on social. I saw that on social.
That was great.
Did you guys see that press conference that went viral where I think it was a British reporter asking Mike McDaniel a question, and it was like a super, super detailed X's and O's question. Do you guys see this?
Refresh my memory.
There was a British reporter. I don't know. No, they weren't in England. They were in Germany, but I don't think it was in Germany. And he was asking McDaniel a question, but like a super detailed question about their schemes and all this stuff. And he's getting like really into the nitty gritty with the terminology, right? And then Mike McDaniel is like, wow, that's like the most impressive. I can't believe that you know all this and recognized all of this, that we do this as opposed to that. And he referenced something that the Broncos used to do, and he's a Broncos guy and all this stuff. And everyone was going nuts about it, like how impressive it was and how great it was that McDaniel called it out and gave him props, which was very cool. My take on it was great that McDaniel called it out, fun, but they're like, those are the worst kinds of questions because it just felt like he was just trying to flex that he knew. Flex is too strong of a term, but like if your question is lasting that long and you're getting so into the weeds, I feel like you're just trying to show the room or show the world that you know what these things are. It's actually not the best kind of question. The best kind of question is when you are not knowing anything. You know what I mean?
Everyone's celebrating this guy?
Yes.
And you're just
the question,
like, boo.
No, not boo, but I had a different perspective.
I get exactly what you're saying because the question is often the answer in those cases, right? They're often giving you something that you're just supposed to be like, yeah, I acknowledge that. Like the thing with, I think it was with LeBron where it's like, well, do you remember when you did this and you did this and then you did this? And he's just like, yeah, like that. It just becomes like the Chris Farley. Like
you see it sometimes in fight
presenting it
media
all the
too.
time.
When people want to start flexing about like, oh, I saw you were doing the and there's no question there. It's just an opportunity to show that you recognize these things.
Yes, I did it. Yes. And what's the question part?
I noticed that you were trying to do this, and that, and this, and that. Was that part of the game plan? Yeah.
Instead of just asking what was the game plan,
or that,
which is the simpler question.
Right. That's all. That's just me being a hater.
But you're also a hater, so.
You know yourself. All right, so that's it for the questions, or the picks.
That's it.
Wow. All right. And then we got December 9th, then we got December 16th, and then we got the awards.
We're out of here, man.
Wow, there's no New Year's Eve.
No.
Oh, is there a Ryzen?
I know, but isn't it usually
Juan
Bellator?
Archuleta's on it? Yeah, no Bellator.
Oh yeah,
there's
so
Ryzen
boxing would just do a solo event. Okay.
Oh, there's freaking in a way
26. Yeah.
Yeah, there's big. Listen, I'm telling you guys. We're trying to tell you.
What are you trying to tell us?
It's on fire. I've been trying to tell you guys. There's more spots right now. There's more opportunities for fighters. There's more money to be made, and every weekend there's a big-ish event. Now I will say, like, some of the cards.
Now
are
all
like,
of a sudden the big players are going out of business. And
which big players are going out of businst?
We're talking about boxing.
Yeah, who's going out of business?
I mean, Showtime no longer carrying it.
That's a network. First of all, Showtime's not going out of business. They're not carrying it anymore.
The boxing business.
But okay. By the way, if you're a PBC fighter, would you rather be on Showtime or Amazon?
Amazon, for sure. So, I mean, Mike Hogan laid it out pretty nicely in terms of going behind a paywall, the tough sledding that you have as a combat.
But I'm just saying, like, well, Amazon is somewhat behind a paywall, right? You have to be a Prime subscriber, and then there's the pay-per-views and all that.
Yeah, but the difference in number of subscribers to Showtime versus Amazon.
So that to me is actually infinite. An upgrade.
Oh, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm there, but it's the same.
No,
it is what it is.
This has been a great year. This has been a great year for boxing.
The big new thing is the Saudi money coming to the table, because now fights that we want to see are getting made. That is what is happening.
Technically not yet, though.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Technically not yet. We're not seeing Joshua Wilder
fighting different opponents, but
Fury Usyk, yes.
Usyk yes. Fury is significant. And
by the way, interesting nugget there. Interesting nugget there from DC about Islam and Saudi.
Yeah,
that was interesting. He would know. Right?
Saudi is.
I should have asked him what day UFC 300 was going to be on.
I bet he knows.
Yeah, for sure he knows.
Call him.
That was an interesting nugget, because 299 would be in when let me see, Ramadan 2024. Actually, no, it works out perfect. Ramadan 2024 is March 10th to April 9, and the UFC event, I believe, is March 2nd. So that would work out perfect. And that would mean he can't fight on UFC 300.
Well, theoretically, yes.
He's not fighting on UFC 300. No way.
And they're
March 2nd, yeah. This makes all the sense.
A fight night?
You see, that it doesn't. By the way, there is an episode where I said Islam is the perfect guy to fight on this because of his ties to the region. But as DC said, it doesn't matter if it's a fight night. It really doesn't matter. They will pay a gazillion dollars to have the best card. Just look at the WWE cards and who they asked for on those cards. And he made the joke because there's a story about them asking for someone who was not alive, like a legend. They give a list.
I thought he was just messing.
No, it's true. They give a list, and WWE delivers that list.
So I'm not initiated.
You make the names?
Who are the names?
Yeah, who are the names that they asked for? They're asking for like the biggest
in
wrestlers?
WWE.
Like, is that the?
Yeah. They asked for Bill Goldberg. They asked for Undertaker.
Shout out, Bill.
They put Logan Paul went up against Roman Reigns for the belt. Like that was that.
That's right.
That match doesn't happen if it's not in Saudi. They wanted something big. It's spectacular.
Wouldn't be the worst thing either to have just like a monster card. I guess it'd be free viewing too, huh?
Yeah, but it would be a week before the 299 card. Yeah.
But it feels like the UFC's business plan then gets a little bit upended, and they'd have to kind of figure out what to do with that.
Nah, it's just a one-off.
The business plan is getting paid crazy money to have a card.
Well, also
no, sure, but you could also monetize that on pay-per-view, so it feels like you have to. Maybe pivot. Maybe it just becomes a pay-per-view.
But by the way, you get all that upfront money that offsets the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I get it.
Facts.
But I agree with you. I'm not arguing that like they wouldn't do it and that they're not smart enough to figure out the business end of it. But what I'm saying is like, if all of a sudden Islam Makhachev is fighting on fight nights to the American consumer who's paying for pay-per-views in the future and getting that one as part of their ESPN Plus, it shifts like what the possibilities are. And now later in the year, what do? There's things to be sorted out. But yes, ultimately, if they're paying you enough to change the difference of that, then you kind of just do it and figure out the rest. But
I typed in UFC Saudi Arabia, and an article came up of DC talking about it on his show, DC and RC. So apparently he said this before. I think it's just a matter of how does Islam want to approach this year. He said he wants to fight in the first quarter, January, February, March. March works. Saudi Arabia, there's a fight card there. It all makes sense. I think you get Charles versus Islam number 2. So
maybe DC knows a little more. Than,
yeah, I mean, it's his guy. That's his guy.
Yeah.
Plus, he's like de facto president of UFC at this point.
Just make it a pay-per-view. Change it. Pay-per-view.
Asking for a pay-per-view on March 2nd, March 9th, 300. A lot.
Didn't they do something like that before? I forget.
Yeah, they've done back-to-backs, but it's asking for a lot.
Well, they did free. Usually when they did the back-to-backs, they'd do like free, right? It would be like one was in Abu Dhabi and was free on ESPN, and one was on pay-per-view. But I feel like they've done like created pay-per-views before that were right next to each other.
Freaking John Jones fought like March 3rd or whatever it was, and then 2 weeks later Leon, and that was supposed to be a fight night, but they turned it into a pay-per-view.
That's right.
Doesn't that
Stuff
feel
like that?
Doesn't
Just
that feel,
do it?
That was 8 months ago. Doesn't that feel like it was 2 years ago?
Yeah, it feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Jones fight feels like it was a lifetime ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
it feels so long ago.
First pay-per-view.
Wow, Leon's gonna be back soon.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't fought since.
That kind of just hit me. That's crazy.
Yeah,
first
it really does feel like a lifetime since Leon fought.
Like the Brazil pay-per-view with Jamal.
Oh, that feels like 10 years ago.
Yeah, crazy. All right, gents. That's the end of the conversation. Crazy time. What a crazy thing.
What a crazy thing it is.
Frank, great job, Frank. I gave you the challenge, more questions. You knocked it out of the park.
Oh, yeah? Is that like a sports term? Or...
Hey, thanks, man. I wanted you to say, like, hey, thanks, man.
Oh, yeah, that was implied.
Want to let you know that our good friends over at Cash App always hook you up when you set up direct deposit with your Cash App account. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early. And look, they say time is money. So how much money is that 2 days worth? I'm not an economist, or is it an economist? But I'd say that's a lot. Basically, what I'm saying is if you set up direct deposit on Cash App, you have time to spare and money to spend. That's money. That's Cash App. Download Cash App from the App Store or Google Play Store and set up direct deposit today. All right, we're out of time, Frank. Let us go. Let us say goodbye. Thank you to Cash App. Goodbye, Eric. See you later. Thank you very much to our good friends over at DraftKings. I'm seeing this tweet here from Brian Martin. The great Brian Martin, longtime journo. Well, that's a first. Phone interview with King Bobby Green at UFC Austin. Interrupted when Arman Sarukian happens by. Words are exchanged. Security has to intervene. Interview now on hold. What a world we live in. So there you have it. Perhaps a seed planted. Arman versus Bobby Green. Of course, they're fighting other people on Saturday, but there you have it. It's never dull. It's never dull. A lot of stuff going on here with the big card on Saturday. Back in Austin. Best Texas city, Austin, would you say so, Frank?
Yeah, definitely Austin. Houston.
Do they say keep Austin weird?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that was painted on the
Or is
wall.
it Portland? Don't they say keep Portland weird?
No,
too?
Portland ripped that from Austin. Why, man?
Wow.
I'm fighting words.
Have you been to Portland?
No.
Wow.
Because I've been to Austin. What's the point?
So you think Portland copied Austin?
Oh, for sure.
Really?
Absolutely.
I think Austin.
That was a whole at least from the show Portlandia, it's like.
Oh, right.
Now you have Austin.
Right.
Over on the Pacific Northwest.
All right. Well, the eyes of the MMA world on Austin this Saturday. Thanks to them. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to DC. Back up on this. There'll be so many.